you get accustomed to the flow, it will be easy for you to navigate the rest of it because they are basic, they are just normal accounting functions. All right. So that's my hope that you'll be able to carry on even if we didn't cover everything on the finance module. So, but we are going to make sure that we cover the basics from beginning to the end of it, which are first the setup, the second one the management, and then the third one will be the reporting. So these are the three different sections that we are going to handle. The first part will be the setup. The second part will be the management of these accounts that have been set up. And the third part will be the reports. When these invoices come in, how do you report them back? Right? How do you pull your Excel sheets and stuff? How do you get analysis of the account? All right. So on that note, we start off with the first one. Please, I would want you to, I don't know, there is so much noise around. So everybody mute your mic. But if you want to say anything at any point, unmute your mic and say what you want to say. And don't hesitate to interrupt me at any point you feel confused so that we don't do back and forth. We take care of issues as they come. I will also be asking questions, so it's meant to be two-way interaction. So kindly endeavor to follow up, ask questions wherever you are confused, ask questions whenever you have any clarification or whatsoever, or deviation from what what yours is. I mean, if yours is different from what we have on board, you can easily tell us so that we show you what represents your own operation in our own system. Okay, so let's start off immediately with the account list. Account list is your normal account number, your NUBAN. So here you enter your normal account number or your ledger accounts. I believe that you already have your chart of accounts, right? And if you do, you already know that part of chart of account is recorded in ledger and they are not the normal account numbers. So if you look at the quick notes at the top, it says all account types are enlisted here. Nuban account numbers are marked in blue, while the general ledger accounts are marked in orange. So you can also get to them. You can also create a new one by just clicking the buttons. So right now, we're going to start with a Nuban account number because we need it to be able to set up online payments. We need it to be able to set up our API. Now, our system is integrated. A few APIs, or rather, payment gateways are integrated in our system. Paystack is there, Flutterwave is there. Of course, our best bet is Flutterwave because of its encompassing nature. It has lots of features that has made accounting very easy for our clients. So it's our best bet. In fact, it's our recommended API or what do you call it now? Interface for payment gateway. So, and for that to work in your system, we will need to get the list of your school management account list. Every account number that you use in management of your school fees, your hostel fees, your whatever because I know you have account heads, right? You have different sections that handle different fees. Probably, well, like I said, this is meant to be an introduction. So anywhere it differs from yours, I would want to hear from you. As a matter of fact, Madam Ewere,
Yes,
please,
please.
good. Thank you very much for being online. Do you use several accounts to manage your school?
Well, we basically have two accounts, and all fees can be paid into either of those accounts. So we do not
Perfect.
separate.
You
Yeah,
didn't separate them, but that's
yes,
fine.
please.
In our system, we endeavor to have account heads so that it will make reporting very easy for us. We can easily see how much came in from school fees, how much came in from hostel fees, how much came in from admission fees, how much came in from store sales and stuff like that. So we call these things account heads. In as much as at the end of the day, the broad view still bring all of them together. and reports can be pulled directly from financial statements without disparity. But in management, we try to create account heads to manage each of these.
Okay, when it comes to posting of fee payments, we post them into account heads, but all fees go into the account. So we don't discriminate in payment into the account, parents pay into any account, all fees into either of the accounts. But when we are doing the posting ourselves, we separate them into different account heads.
Perfect. So we start off first of all with the account head creation, the invoice generation, and then of course we look at how and where the account heads still come together as one. Okay, so on that note, let's quickly do some setup here. On account list, please, before the end of this, I don't know if you have sent your account details to Mr. Alex or Mr.
No,
Botex.
not yet. Not yet.
Okay, please make endeavor to send it so that your API will be generated so that we can have it up and running quickly. The online payment definitely is the easiest, the most efficient that you can have in your system. When parents get to trust your online payment, which we already have records of trusted users, it becomes easy for you because they receive their invoices online. They have pages where they see all the invoices that are generated for their kids, and they can just make a payment on one click. So all those things are automated, and if you are using online payment, it makes it even much better for you, right? So we believe that at the end of this tutorial, you should be able to activate your online payments and have less worry about school fees collection. So on that note, let's start with the first account number that you have. To create a new account number, again, you can see where I clicked. It's not something you do every day, but to do that, you just click on that and select your account bank. Which bank do you use?
UBA.
UBA. So UBA should be somewhere down there. United Bank for Africa, and of course, it's Naira account.
Yeah.
Account number
1018
1018
7873
7873
398.
98. Now, the moment I enter 98, the first thing the system does is to verify that this account number is available, as is valid. And how does it validate it? When it validates properly and is successful, it brings back the account name on its own. So let's see if that's true. So 98, verifying account number, and here you have it, WellSpring College. So there is never a mistake as to account number versus the account name on the system. Now, the bank name alias allows you to name this account, give it a name that you can easily identify when you see it on a bill. All right. So, because sometimes people have maybe two, three different account numbers in the same bank, like UBA, for instance. So, in that case, it becomes necessary to I- um, identify one account number differently from the other. So, we use alias to mark them, to tag them. All right. So, this can be easily named UBA fees account. So, anytime you see it,
Sorry.
you know.
So who is it? The parents that get to see this alias, or who exactly gets to
No,
see
no, no,
the
no.
alias?
Your school, as in, because our system has both online payments and manual payments. Y- if you are to select the source of a manual payment, like when parents make a payment and they give you, when parents make payments and they give you teller, for instance, and the teller is coming from UBA, during reconciliation, you need to indicate the bank it came from.
Oh, okay. Let's just call that UBA. Just call it UBA.
Beautiful. So you can simply call it
You,
UBA.
you,
Hello, Taiwo.
Taiwo, you were saying something.
I said, UBA is okay. UBA is okay.
UBA is fine.
Perfect.
So
So,
the other one can be UBA too.
Yeah.
all right. So here we have it, and we save that. So you can see UBA for Africa, United Bank for Africa is the full name, but the alias you gave it is UBA. That's all. And of course, you can see the account type is bank account. It's not a ledger, it's a bank account. And any deal, currently the opening balance is zero. But if you have your account balance right now before we start using this system, and you know the opening balance, that is your current balance in the account, your statement of account, you can easily click on set opening balance and enter the opening balance right here. That way, the system starts keeping tag of the the financials as long as that bank is concerned, and as long as educare is concerned. Like as long as your school fees and collections, that's your income and expenditure, the system will start keeping track of them because as long as they pass through the system, they are recorded. Okay, so but if you don't have it right now, you can see it's empty. Current balance is zero, no activity whatsoever. The second account number, do you have it ready?
Just give me a moment.
Okay,
All right, it's still UBA.
okay, it's still UBA. You see what I mean? So without this alias, it would have been a problem for us to identify one against the other. Okay, so let's enter it also. The account number.
Okay, before we do this, okay,
Yes.
actually, I just realized we do have three accounts that we operate,
Okay.
but only two are for payment of fees. One is just for internal, transactions,
Internal
expenses,
transactions.
and all that. Yes, so
Perfect.
this
So
UBA is for internal transactions. We don't disclose it to parents for
parents.
payment. Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. This particular one or the one you're about to give
Yeah,
me
the one I'm about to give you now, this
is for
second UBA.
internal transactions.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can easily name it UBA internal transactions. That's it.
Well, we just call it UBA two. Well, let me give you the number.
Okay.
1018 7874 15.
1 5.
Five.
Again, the account name is yet to be found. Okay, there you have it. WellSpring College account 2. So we can easily call it UBA
UBA two.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know it. It's not a problem. You know the alias, you know why you called it what you called it, right? So it's not a
Yeah.
problem. Now the last one, which is
That's Fidelity Bank.
Fidelity Bank.
Yeah, Taiwo.
Okay, so I'm going to leave this one for Taiwo to fill in.
Okay, it's 40.
No, fill it in from your own end.
Okay, I should fill it now.
Fill it in now from your own end. Let's see it from here. I'm waiting for you.
Okay. Which alias can we give to this one?
Just we call it Fidelity two.
Okay. Don, should I add?
Yes, please.
Done, I'm done.
Done. So if I refresh this page right now, I will see your third one. Perfect. Fidelity 2 is right here.
Yes. Yes.
So now we have the three accounts. Um, Please endeavor to send these accounts to Mr. Alex together with your CAC so that we can have the API, at least for the first one and the last one, the ones that will be used for school fees collection. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. So we move on to the chart of account. Peter, you already know how to use chart of account.
Yes.
Perfect. So
Yes.
good. So here we have the We have about 6 of them already keyed into the system. You can always change any of them or add new ones. So we have the accounts receivable, you have the school fees received, the server hosting, software, marketing expenses, and other things. Office premises expenses. You can add salary, you can add other charts, and you can give them your own codes. You can change the codes that are on this one by simply clicking on edit.
So I cannot see the charts of account. I cannot access it. I
Yes,
just you do not have access to this information. Kindly contact Alias for further info.
okay, that's beautiful. So, Peter Ewere, right? Madam, this is where you add
Yes.
up some of the operations permission. There are some operations in the system, like this chart of account, like budget management and requisitions, like direct postings and transfer. You don't
Okay.
allow, in as much as people may have access to see the menu, the chart of account menu, some of the operations are personalized. And for those of personalized operations, this is where you key in the persons that should have access to it. So you can see the chart of account is only available to Oluwa Yemisi or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to add um, Peter to it, just click on edit, open that up, and look for Peter. Peter should be among the list right now.
That's Taiwo.
Taiwo, Mr. Taiwo, right there. Add him to the list. Okay, and that's it. So if you try to view it now, he should be able to view that. Okay.
To refresh, have you?
No, just click on it again. Yeah, just refresh and you will see the chart of accounts will be available for you right now. So this is going to be the same thing with a few other things down the line. Okay.
Okay, I've
So,
seen.
so have you been able to log in now?
Yes, yes, I've seen it.
Beautiful. So this is where you give the permissions to people for some of the personalized account operations.
Okay, so I see my name is not on there. So why is that the case?
Okay, so probably your account just got created. First person that was used as an admin, automatically the system uses the first admin in the system to create this. And then subsequently, every other person can be added. So let's quickly add you up also.
You typed it wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so I would solicit that you do this yourself. I mean, much later, make sure that the right persons are with the right access. All of them who should see chart of accounts, who should see requisitions, who should make direct postings, and so on and so forth. So all those things, make sure that the right persons have the right access. Budgets, who should enter your budgets, who should make requisitions, and so on and so forth. Okay, so with
Okay,
that,
so let me understand this.
yeah,
James,
yes,
let me understand this. So even though somebody is set up as accountant just where Taiwo is,
yes,
if this is not set up, okay, so who can set this up? An admin
an
person,
admin,
super admin?
exactly, super
Is this
admin,
super admin? Okay.
yes,
So the super admin doesn't set this up.
yeah.
Even the accountant cannot access these areas,
No, no,
essentially.
no, no, no. So you unless you give the person access to account setup.
Access. Okay.
Yeah. So with this now, the whole account setup is done, and of course, it's not all of them that require such personalized access. The ones that require it are the ones that you see on that list. Okay, so things like chart of account, budgets, requisitions, postings, direct postings, and so on and so forth. Those are the ones that require such personalized operation. The rest, everybody can do it as long as you have been given the module access. Okay, so on that note, let's review chart of account once again. We have the chart of accounts, and each of them can be either revenue or expense. And if it's revenue, most of the time a revenue is an asset and an expense is a liability, right? And of course, the every revenue is a credit to the system, right? While every liability per se, is a debit to the system. So we make sure that it stays that way right here. Okay, so you can add more, because at the end of the day, the account heads that we will be creating here will be reckoned against a chart of accounts for reporting purpose under financial statements. So ensure that all the chart of accounts are properly recorded here. If you want to see more samples of chart of account, you can populate sample chart with this button here. Populate sample chart of accounts. It will give you about 100 and something different sample charts, which you can just use to see how it looks like anyways. And if you are done with review, you can always delete all of them by just clicking here. If you click here, it will depopulate all of them, all
Oh,
samples.
okay.
Yeah.
James,
Yes.
what I see here under account names, are they like subheads now, sub ledger accounts under which you can have other accounts, or these are the final ledger accounts?
Okay, so these are the sample ledger accounts that we have in the
Okay.
system. They may not even be part of yours, but as long as you run chart of account, you know your own account heads, your own account names. That's your ledger account names, I say. So,
Yeah.
so you just key them in here by clicking on the plus button, enter their code, right? Hit the enter and then enter the account name. So let's say we have something like, give me one, Peter.
Yes.
Give me one account name that you use. I mean, one of your chart of accounts account name.
Um, cash receipt. Cash receipt.
Cash receipt.
Yes.
Then, so what's the code? What's the account code?
We don't have
Well, it's usually system generated,
Okay,
so
it's
we
usually
don't.
system
Yeah.
generated. Okay, fine. So here we allow you to actually enter the account code yourself. So it's revenue, so it's an asset and it's credit. So you click on that, and here we have it, cash receipt.
Yeah. So my question is this.
Yes,
Take for instance marketing expenses. We have it as the sub ledger account. So underneath that we have social media marketing. We have what they call it, other marketing expenses underneath that. So
under that.
my question, yeah, do you have that option? I mean, because it's important to be able to class expenses. Even under maintenance, you have hostel maintenance, you have furniture maintenance, you have equipment maintenance. So we break them down into these individual ledger accounts under one, like subhead, like maintenance.
Under
So I
maintenance.
don't. Yes. So do you have that? Is that available, or ledger account just stand individually on their own here
Yeah, so
and cannot
they
be grouped?
so here, what we made, we had that option, but it was going to create more issues than it was going to solve. So the account types is equivalent to account groups. So if you don't want to, this is a simple group called revenue. This is a simple group called expense. It doesn't even matter whether it's positive or negative, but this is a very simple group. So if we want to do what you are currently saying now, then marketing expense becomes an account type or subgroup right here. So all you need to do is change this, instead of revenue, call it marketing expense, and then uh, under here, when you are now like this particular one now, if I decide to call it marketing expenses, then under the accounts themselves, right here now, this particular one, like this marketing expenses now, I can now
Yes.
call it, what
Yes.
did you call it before? I mean, one of the samples of the
uh,
individual
Social media marketing.
social media marketing. So this now can be social media marketing. And that's it. So office premises expense, if it's not marketing expenses and if it's different, you can also change. So you can see that everybody who is under marketing expenses can now have their individual, that's the individual accounts under marketing expenses, can now be created individually here. But you have just one group called marketing expenses. All right. So that's the grouping. So you see that it's an account type or account group. Yeah. Okay, so in that case, you can see server hosting. If it's marketing expenses, it stays here. If it's not, then you have to change it. You will also have to create other account groups right here by just clicking on the button at the top and you give it account group name.
Okay.
Sorry,
That's
under account type, I cannot access the account type.
You can't access account type. Again, the setup. So that's why I said, in order not to waste our time, I just added you to chart of accounts, but the account chart of account types. So I'll have to add you again to all of them. But if I keep doing this, it might take out time. So,
But you know,
uh,
I'm not able to get what you are really saying if I cannot
okay,
access.
okay, that's fine.
Because I cannot access your screen is a little bit
Yeah,
small.
I get you, I get you. Um, okay, so this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to add you all, I mean both of you, quickly from the database so that we don't have to repeat this. Okay, so just give me 5 minutes and we'll be back on screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so you have been
Okay, WellSpring. Um, okay, so that's done. If you refresh now, you should be able to see everything yourself. So, so Mr. Peter, confirm you can see everything now. You should be able to log into every one of them.
okay, I will do that.
Okay. All right. So with that in mind, please kindly endeavor to set up your chart of accounts properly because we are going to be using it very soon under the account setup by the time we get there. Because we attach the account heads to the chart so that we can do reporting, like I said. Okay, now the next is of course, talking about account setup. That's where we're going next. The account setup comprises of, first of all, the payment gateways. That's the account payment methods. So here we have the Rave, like I mentioned. We have the OPay, Paystack, PayU. But of course, we stick with Rave because it's our best. So, and to add a payment method, you don't do this every time. In fact, you don't have to do this. I'm only here because you need to know how your online payment works. So, as a sample, I'm going to use our demo account to set this up. So, usually, a payment gateway, the API will give you, once your API key is set up, you should have a public key. You should have a secret key. That's what connects your system to the Rave interface. And of course, you have a PID. So all those things, you don't even need to deal with them. In fact, you don't deal with this place. We do it ourselves. We test it, or we set it up for you, and you start using it. So don't even bother yourself trying to memorize this. But this is a test key, Winx Viv Demo API. So what the system does is that with this API key, it links your portal to your Flutterwave dashboard, which we also create and verify for you for ease of access. And then anytime that there is need for online payment, the system pops the Flutterwave, that's the Rave interface, collects the payment on your behalf, and then gives value to the customer on the portal. So once it's successful, the system will mark it as successful, take it in as a paid a successful payment, and then if it's an invoice, the system will mark the invoice as paid. That's it. In the meantime, every 24 hours, that's T plus one, Rave collects every money of every revenue, every invoice that was paid for in a day. Under 24 hours, Rave collects all of them and dispatches to your Nuban, depending on the Nuban that has this API key. Because every account number that you have on this account list, when registered on Rave, each one of them will have its own API key. So depending on the one that the payment went to, that's the online payment went to the system, the Rave portal will collate all the monies. Let's say that there was 10 different invoices generated today, and all of them amounted to 10.1 million naira. They take their transaction fee and they send you the remaining one to your account number, which is any of these, depending on the one again that has the API. All right. So, and when you receive that, it's easy to track down how many of these account numbers, which of these account numbers was settled for. We call them settlements, right? So if you have if you receive 10 million and you are asking, like, okay, which invoices did this 10 million come from? All you need to do is click on settlements, and the system will show you the settlement history. You can search by date, maybe go back, go forth, just try to find a particular date that has this particular settlement. Okay, and can even do a range and filter. So once it finds any payment, it will show you the payment just like this. It will show you the amount, and it will show you the destination and everything. So, and if you want to see the list of the invoices that culminated in this 8,200, all you need to do is click on the details button, and it will show you the list of the invoices. So you can see that there was an invoice with the reference number this, which was a USSD transaction type that someone used to make a
Sorry,
payment.
I cannot get where you are present.
No. I'm just giving you this with a demonstration of how the API links up with your portal. Remember that
Okay.
I just keyed in from account setup, the very first tab under account setup, that is the payment methods or payment gateways, if you like. Here you have a demo API. I told you that when you make your own registration, when you send us your details and we record and we create your account and verify it, we are going to get an API key. That API key, will have to key it in here and delete our own. But right now I'm using mine. I'm using our own to do the demo for you, and I'm showing you that when you have settlements lined up, maybe you generated an invoice, the invoice was paid for, and now it has been settled. When you want to see the breakdown of the settlements, all you need to do is under each one of the APIs, click on settlements, and you can search the exact date of the settlement you are interested in. And when you filter it, the system will show you the settlements and their due, the dates that they were settled. So currently you can see that this one is pending, this one is pending. It has not been settled. That's why there is no date under the date settled column, right? And if you click on details, to show you the list of invoices that culminated in that settlement. So here we have one invoice of 10,300, but the settled amount for it is 8,250, and it's a USSD payment. So you easily see that quickly. It's a very simple um, system, and you can even export it if you want, either download it in PDF format or in Excel format. Okay, so it's as simple as that. And remember that this happens T+1. That is a day after the transaction. So all yesterday's transactions get settled today, apart from weekends. So any payment transaction that happened on Saturday or Sunday will be settled on Monday. Or rather, any settlement, any payment between Friday, all weekends anyway, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will be settled on Monday. So working days. The next working day is when they do their remittance. Okay, that's too much talk over payment gateway that you won't even have reason to check out yourself, because once the system is properly set up, you just continue your operation. Every other thing is automated. All right.
Okay, James.
Yes, please.
Now, when the parent pays on an invoice, right?
Yes.
Do we automatically does it as in, is the student's account automatically credited in the ledger, or we have to still make that posting ourselves?
Okay, excellent question. So the system, like I said, it has been automated to do all that. So the ledger, that's why the only thing that we need to do is do proper setup.
Okay.
And that leads us to the next place we're going to, which is account heads. Under this account heads, when we create a school fees account head as an instance, a wallet account head, an admission account head, hostel, whatever, by the time we create them, we will attach them to the chart of account that the ledger should be, that is the ledger they should be posted to when the in-payment comes in. And once we do that, that is it. Every other thing is automated. So if a parent makes a payment on an invoice, the invoice will be marked as paid, and the amount on that invoice will be posted to the ledger that is attached to that particular account where the invoice was generated on. So on that note, let's create our first account head.
Okay.
So to create an account head, again, this is one of the places you may find yourself going to, maybe until you've created all account heads necessary. Usually the default account heads are school fees, wallet to keep excesses from parents, admission forms.
Okay.
Yeah.
James, we
Yes.
can't really hear you. Okay.
Can you hear
It's
me?
better now.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
now we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so I was saying that to create account head, all you need to do is the button, the create account head button at the top right of the table. You click on that, and then the dialog box that shows up, just fill it up. So here we have the school fees account. It's a text box. It's not a drop down. So it simply got auto filled by Google Chrome. Okay, so school fees account. Then who are going to manage this account? Because if you are creating this account and you say accountants should manage it, admin should manage it, principal should be able to access it, those are the only people that should have access to it. So to do that, you open the select manage roles, admin, fine, and then the accountant. So usually
You know what?
Yes.
Just put okay, anybody in an admin role.
Yes, and anybody in
Well,
accountant
okay,
role.
I was going to come to that. I
Yes.
don't know if it's within your purview now, or maybe I'll need to speak to someone else. The finance function should only be accessible to myself and anyone else that I give access.
That's it.
But currently we have 3 admins, and I see that admins have access to the finance role. Even the name that showed up, Day, for all those
Yes.
other year entries, it ought not to be the case.
Okay.
So those things need to be sorted out.
Okay.
Because yes. So
Okay, that's
the
fine.
finance function is exclusive to only those in the account
In the
section.
account session, that's fine. So the
Yes.
first thing to attend to is how many of you should be admins. Anybody who is not supposed to be admin, please, will have to change their roles, give them their right roles.
Okay, let me initially when I asked about what admins were, okay, they said admins could, okay, like admins could access all roles, basically all
Everything,
functions.
all functions.
Yes, and at the time I hadn't considered the finance
The
angle.
finance
To be
angle, okay.
honest, I hadn't.
Okay,
But so we set up three admins,
okay,
okay,
okay.
myself inclusive. But now I see that amongst the admins, I should be the only.
The only admin.
The
Even
other
if
two should
yes,
not.
exactly. So we have to
So
create a
is it does
role.
it mean that they will have to be a different role for them?
Exactly. They will have to have a
Okay.
different role, even if they have to access everything.
Except
It will
the
be
finance function.
except the finance. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
we have to create a different role for
All
them.
right. So it's something I should do. Okay. Maybe after this training,
After
I'll
the
see if I can
training,
do
we
it.
sort them
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so on that note, we move over to the chart of account. So remember what I said about the chart of account? That's the ledger. Select
Yes.
account chart. For now, I'm putting this on school fees receipt. Remember, you have to set your chart of account to match yours. But for now, using what we have on the system, this is it. So we know that every school fees payment will reflect on school fees receipt. In our
Okay.
system, we have about 6 or 7 different account types. That is, we have the fees account types, we have the admission account types, we have the store percent, as you can see on the list. Now,
Yeah.
the reason we separated them is because some of these account types do not require manual invoice creation. Some of them are set up automatically. Things like store. If you have an item on display in your store, all that is required is to put a price on the item. And just like Jumia, Konga, or anything, anybody can pick it and add to cart and pay. So at
Okay.
that instance, at the instance of checkout, that's when the invoice is generated. You see, it does not depend on you, it depends on what the person is ordering. The same thing goes with admission form. All you need to do is set the admission form price such that anybody who is filling the form, when it gets down to checkout, that is submit, the person will have to make the payment, which is also automatic, right? And so on and so forth, all the way down. But fees are the places where you generate an invoice. So you generate a school fees invoice for every child. So because of these disparities in pricing and the circumstances behind their use cases, they are separated in management. So for school fees, it will be a fee account. So it is the only one that you can manually invoice. Every other one, admission, you will just have to key in the exact price for each of the
Okay.
schools, and that's it. So let's deal with the school fees itself first. The currency, of course, is Naira. And if you want to add correspondent, what does correspondent do? School fee correspondent, if you want to add a school fee correspondent, now what you are simply doing is you are saying, you are giving us the name of the person who should receive notifications when an online payment is made. What's your email address, ma'am?
Okay. So that's the email address to which notification would go.
Yes.
All right. Can we change the
Yes,
name?
much later. Okay.
Okay. Well, Taiwo. Taiwo.
So
I'm
should we use
listening.
Taiwo?
Taiwo. Yes,
Yes,
use
ma'am.
Taiwo for now. Provide the account email address, please.
Okay, WellSpring account acct@gmail.com. WellSpring acct@gmail.com.
That's the correspondent. So we can easily call it accounts, even we don't have to
Okay.
give it any name. We can just,
All
but
right.
it's usually better to give it a name because usually you use this to address the person, right? Like dear. So we can say dear accounts or
Okay.
account.
Just say well, the accountant. Just
Good. So we can simply say the accountant. Okay, good. That's fine. So with this saved, what it means is that, of course, you can add as many as possible, but that's it. So any invoice that is automatically paid for, the system will send a notification to WellSpring account. Again, the rave setting. Remember that, like I said, under payment gateway, each account number will have an API. So the API is attached. Any API you attach to this account that is the API that the payment will go to. That's when someone is paying online. And then if there is a manual payment, this one is just so let's say that this is the account number that owns this API. So this is more like an administrative information, that this is the account number that owns this API. All right. If it's different, if it's Fidelity, please kindly select with Fidelity. Make sure that at every point in time that um, they are properly collated, as in properly related. Okay. So the API and its
But sorry, see the API, the API you're talking about. Okay, so it's not. How do I explain it? I really don't know much about the API. So how do you know it's the correct API?
okay, so that's why we have Alias. The Alias should match. They are just normal common sense setup. Like when I was creating the API, I just named it educare. I mean, I just named it Winners with Demo API.
Okay.
So you can always name it whatever you want, but try to make sure that it matches. Maybe just like the one we created now, we called it UBA when we are creating the account list.
Yeah.
We called it UBA. So here we could have named this UBA API.
Okay, I think
That's
that would
all.
have helped. Okay.
Yeah, but because I'm using demo, I don't want to mix it up. So because
Okay.
definitely when you're coming, you should be able to mark the difference between this and your own normal API. All right, so here we have the account head we have created. That's the school fees account. You can see that it is attached to school fees receipt ledger. Okay, and it's currently it is being managed by the admin and the accountant, and it is linked to Winners with Demo API. That's it. Of course, it's an account type fees. If you want to create more, go ahead, just create it here. Let's create one more. Let's create a wallet account. I like creating
What's
wallet
a wallet
accounts.
account?
Yes, I like creating this almost immediately because do you have case scenarios where a parent pays 100,000 instead of 80,000 that is on the invoice?
Yeah.
Good. So how do you handle the 20,000?
It's automatically credited to the student's account.
So it
That's
stays on the student's
because at the end
account
of the year, yeah, it stays on the student's
as an
account. Then
overpayment.
as
so
an
when we are generating
overpayment.
the way, yeah, so against the next term's bill, that credit is kind of taken off. So the value
The
of
f-
the fees for the
the
following term is
balance,
reduced by that value. Yes.
and then the person pays the balance. That's exactly what the wallet
Yeah.
account does.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the only difference now is that it is affixed to the parent, not the student. So it stays on the parent because the parent can have like three, four, five students who are I mean,
Okay.
yeah, who are in the school. So sometimes they even make one-time payment because in order to avoid too much transaction fees. Imagine having to pay 100,000 for five students. That's 100,000 each. That's 500,000, right? If you make an individual payment of 100,000 each as a parent, you might be charged up to 10,000 naira. That's to 2,000 naira on each. But if you make a singular payment into your wallet of 500,000, you'll be charged 2,000 naira just once, and the system can easily disperse the 500,000 amongst the five students without any extra charge. So some parents can actually use this method to clear
Sorry, do the
themselves out.
charges get up to 2,000 naira per
Okay, so
transaction?
that's the cap, but I think the transaction, Mr. Alex, I don't know if you're here, but I think their current transaction rate is 2.4%. So if you are paying anything, anything you are paying is 2.4% of the transaction. However, the cap, that is the maximum they can collect, no matter how much percentage that it could have been, is 2,000 naira. Do you understand that? So I think Mr. Alex will
Okay.
have to throw more light on that when you speak with him. And
Okay.
if there is anything else you want under that, you can easily relate to him. But that's the standard they have on Rave. As a matter of fact, that's the cheapest we have ever found, and that's only because we are able to reach out to them and make some alliance for our clients. All right.
Okay.
So okay, so that's about wallet account. So we call it wallet account because it holds excesses per se, holds money, right? Uh,
But is this something you post into?
no, you don't post into it. You
Okay,
simply
okay, I just wanted to get.
it's just an excess, like
Okay.
excess holder. Even though because of its functionality and the account number, virtual account number that has been made available by Rave, parents can actually do a direct posting to their wallet account, which the system automatically uses to clear invoices. So, if you generate an invoice of 100,000 naira for a parent who already has a virtual account number attached to his wallet, all he has to do is open his phone, use USSD or any other means, send the 100,000 to that account, and the system will automatically receive it as credit and use it to clear an invoice. So these are some of the beautiful functionalities that we have affixed on the system. But on a normal day, you don't use it for posting. You just use it for collection. All right. So I'm going to also attach this
Okay, but
to.
can you can what if a parent who has an excess decides to gives an instruction or maybe requires a refund or something, we can still
Okay.
post that
So
transaction.
yes, we usually don't. Um, how do I put this now? We usually don't advise reforms. Every payment that goes into that should be used for school fees at some point. But if there is need
I
for,
agree, but
yeah, but then it
is there a
happens. So the
possibility?
possibility is simply to generate an invoice, call it refund, and
Okay.
debit the account. That's all. Once you do that, that's a refund, and you can give the parent his balance. That's all. So that does not go into school fees. You can create an account head here called refunds, and each time a parent requires a refund from his wallet, just create an invoice called in refund and
All right.
key in the exact account amount. That's it. All right, so I'm going to still attach this to the same Rave because that's the only one that we currently have, the demo account, and that's it. So you can see that the account type I selected is wallet account type. Yeah. Okay, so we have to select manage as usual, accountant, and the admin, and then we add. Okay, so I like creating these two at once because when an excess payment is made on the system, it should have a place it bounces, right? So that reflection makes it necessary for these two to always go almost immediately. So later on, Mr. Peter, please kindly create. Well, I mean, in fact, we are watching right now. Go to account setup, go to account heads tab, and create a new account head for admissions. Create an admissions account.
on the account.
Under account head, click on create account head, create admissions account. Remember that the account type should be admission. Of course, you
Okay,
will
the
also,
account.
So, Miss James, please.
yes.
This account head, where does it really apply? Like, because I on the ledger, I understand we're talking about ledger account, but this
Okay.
account head exactly, what is the purpose of this account head? Because I know we don't have any, we don't refer to anything as school fees in itself.
Yeah.
There's either tuition fee, there's other. So I want to understand the role this account head plays, so we
Okay.
know how to,
To
make the
use it.
relevant changes. Yes.
Okay, okay. That's good. Very, very, very good. Thank you very much. So the account heads, like I said, simply put, refers to different sections of the same account management. You already said that you have, before now, you simply have two accounts for collection of school fees. What other bills do you give out to students?
Okay, in our bill, right,
Yes.
fees are broken down. We have tuition fees, we have
Yes.
boarding fees,
Okay.
we have lunch fees, we
Beautiful.
have
Transport.
uh,
Transport.
yeah, there's transport. So we break
Good.
them down into all these various
Good.
And some
classes of
vocational
fees.
services.
Good. Okay, so and when you do these, each one of
Yeah,
these now, boarding fee for instance,
yeah.
has a ledger.
Boarding fee, all of them have their ledger accounts.
Beautiful. So each of these ledger accounts now, can either be grouped together as school fees or separated into their individual ledger under chart of accounts. And here, school fees account, if by virtue of your own invoice, I wish I can see, can you maybe share your screen, show me one of your invoices? I'll stop presenting now.
Do I have? Well, Taiwo might be in the bed. Taiwo,
Taiwo, share your screen, show us one of your
Taiwo.
invoices.
Hello, ma.
Yeah, do you have a copy? Do you have any? Can you share
Bill,
some of the
Abi.
bills? Yes, if
Okay,
you
let me
share
let, me-
some
let me
of
look for
bills.
it and see what I can do. I will
Okay,
look for a bill to share.
okay. So while you do that, once you get it, let me know so that I'll stop presenting and you can take over, right?
Okay.
All right. So now, madam, what we are referring to as account heads is actually this individual, these different. Okay, so some people actually have boarding fee as a separate account, and it goes into a different account number.
Yes,
Some people have school fees account, which contains tuition, development levy, and a few other
yes,
things, and they go
yes,
into a separate account. In your own
yes,
context, all of them go to the same account. So you only need one account
yes,
head, fees account or school fees account, even though it contains items under them. And each of these items can go to a different ledger. It's not a problem. We will get to that part. All right. So in your own context, if all you do is one bill for one child, you send out that one bill, but in that one bill you have items listed maybe according to categories or everything listed as one. It's not a problem. So this school fees account is enough to handle that. So even if it is just one, you still need one account head at least. Just one is okay. You get it. So you already explained,
okay.
yes, you already explained that, like you said before, that your Fidelity account and UBA, anybody can pay into anyone and it will still
Yes,
be valid. That's not a problem.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Well, let's see how. Okay, the way I understand this school fees account, I think it is in relation to the bank account to which the fees are paid. I'm guessing that's what informs what you call this account head name. Is it?
okay? No, in relation to what it holds, what kind of bills that go into it. In
So
relation
if
to
I want to
what?
print a report,
Yes. So you can
okay,
print
usually
a.
when we want to print, okay,
Yes. Go on.
so if I want to print a report, I would select, okay, either the ledger account, or like I use, like would say, okay, I think, can we say this account head name is like the, like what we call like the sub ledger kind of,
Or the group. The
the
when
group account
is
is,
good.
can it be that?
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
okay, I think I understand it
I,
better
I
now.
have the I have the bill with me now.
Okay,
I don't
perfect.
know if
Let's
can you
look at
see
it.
it?
Yes, let's look at it. Can you share your screen?
Do you know how to share your screen?
Present now. You can see present now somewhere on the.
Okay. I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can go back to the screen now. I mean, you can now go to your.
Can
Yeah,
you see it
that's
now?
it. That's it. Good. So this is on a normal day. This is what you send out to parents regarding
Yes.
the
Yes.
school fees. So you can see that it's just one, but it contains tuition. It contains lunch, practical education supplies, IT empowered programs, development levy, and PTA. So, assuming that tuition is going to tuition ledger account, lunch is going to lunch ledger account, practical, and all that. It won't change the fact that all of them belong to one account head or group, which is school fees, because this is a school bill, yeah, this is a bill for maybe first term bill, right? This is maybe first term bill. Is that what it is?
Yes. It's the first
This,
time.
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
this could be first term bill for SS2 or second term bill for SS1. It's not a problem. So one person receives this. So that
Yes.
means that you don't need multiple account heads. You just need one, which is that one that we have created.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you
Then,
include
but how does
admission
it split
form?
back to each other?
We'll
So
get
can
there.
you hear me?
We'll get there. Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you. We get there. Okay. So right now, what you have, please go back to that word. Don't go back to the view.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I've seen enough. I think we've seen what we need to see. So I'll continue sharing here. Yeah. So you just have need for one account head, and that is it. So it's not a problem at all. So this is enough. And if you don't want to call it school fees account, you can call it anything you want.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't stop the fact that we need the wallet handler. So we have created it. When you have need for admission form, you sell admission form online?
Yes, we do.
Good. How do you collect the money for that? They
Well,
usually
they usually make
they
transfers
make
and then
transfers and
find a
then
way
they
to,
fill the
yeah,
form and they
contact
bring
us.
it back. That's
Yeah.
it. So you see that one now, it will have its own account head, of course. It doesn't. It's not part of the bill because these people are not yet students. They don't have ledger yet. I mean, they don't have
Yeah.
accounts in the system yet. So you create a admission form sales account head, and all you need to do is key in. How much do you collect for admission forms?
10,000.
10,000. You just key that in, and that is it. So, and once you have that on, and you start selling forms, all you need to do is give them link to the admission form and they'll fill it up. So let's not mix it up. Let's focus on accounts right now, account setup and management. Then much later you can look at admission form sales and other things. Okay, so all we need right now is just the school fees account, which groups every fee item that we have on the list. So we are going to its management so that we can see where the fee items can go in. Are we together on that note? Okay. I take your silence as your your mic's muted. Yes, that is it. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, so here we go to manage accounts. Under manage accounts, you see that there are actually two account heads. Why do we have network error? Oh Jesus. This girl. Hello?
Please join back in.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, you are
Please
welcome back.
apologies. This is just network.
Yeah.
Apologies. All right. So we were going to the management of the accounts that we have created so far, which is the school fees account, right? So how do we manage this account? How do we create invoice? How do we make payments? How do we receive bills and all that? So that is what we have under management. So if we click on manage accounts, we simply select the account that we have access to. Remember that when I was creating the account setup, as in when I was creating the account heads, we attached the managers, that's the admin and the accountant. If I remove all admins right now from school fees, if I remove all admins right now and I go to manage accounts, school fees will not be on the list of the accounts that they can manage. You can see wallet account is the only one that will be available for them to manage. If I remove the wallet account, as a matter of fact, there will be nothing for this admin to manage because he will not have access to it anymore. So that is how restricted this accounting system can be. Okay, so if I try to go to manage accounts now, I simply say no account created yet. That's a dummy content telling you you don't have access to manage anything. All right, so I'm going to add admins back to the school fees and others. Now we will see the dashboard of an admin. So if I go to manage accounts now, I have at least school fees account to manage. And this is the landing page, the dashboard of that account head. So you see that by virtue of its build, it has separated the account head. So if you are here, all you know that this place contains every transaction that concerns bills that we are generated for students for first term, second term, third term, for any of the sessions that is available. Right? So here on the dashboard, we have the open invoices, which tells you the total expected amount.
James,
Yes, go on, please.
is it just me? I can't see you didn't share your screen, or am I just the one that can't
Oh,
see?
okay. Let me check. Oh, so sorry. The network knocked it out and I didn't pay attention to that. Sorry. Okay, can you see my screen now?
I think it's about to, yes, you can see us.
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank God. All right. Sorry. So sorry. Okay, so let me take it back to manage accounts again. So if you have several accounts that you are attached to from the account heads, like this one now, the admin is attached to only one. So there is no need of selection of which account to manage. But if I have maybe two, let's say I attached to the first one and also attached to the second one, then you notice that when I go to manage account, the system will ask me to select the account I want to manage right now. So here I have the list of accounts that I have access to. So I select the school fees account and I am on their dashboard. So this dashboard gives you a quick analysis of every transaction that concerns this account head. By that means, you don't have to bother yourself. Whenever you're here, you know that what you're seeing is how much you should be receiving from school fees, which contains tuition, development levy, and everything. So here, the opening invoice shows you 0, the completed payments shows you 0, and the debt, that is the current debt, is 0. That's because we have not generated any invoice. And right beneath the analysis, we'll have the list of all the invoices with the names of the students, their current classes, the term that the invoice was generated for, the amount and everything, the reference numbers and everything. Everything is usually listed right under this place. So on the right flank, one important aspect of it is the account statement for this particular school fees. Again, remember, it contains everything like the tuition and everything, all the invoices that are generated. Here you can pull their statements from a particular date to a particular date. Just make a choice, just like when you go to account statements in the bank. So it's a quick account statement which you can download either as an Excel sheet or anything. So you can pull it according to paid or unpaid. You can filter down to just a particular class or a particular arm. You can do all that. Okay, but how do you generate the bill in the first place? How do you generate the bill that you want people to pay for? How do you generate the bill that parents can clear? That is on this tab, the bills tab. Tayo, can you see bills tab? I'm sorry, Taiwo. Can you see the bills tab? Beautiful. So if you click on that, as a matter of fact, these are the two important tabs under the management: analysis and bills. So bills is where you generate any particular invoice that you want to give to a child. Okay, so and here you can set it up the way you like. You can set the view, you can set the feel, the look and feel of the bill. For instance, I can change the color to indigo, I mean violet or whatever. I don't even know what this color is. Okay, so and and that color becomes available. That becomes the color that the invoice will have. Okay, and apart from that, I mean, when I do this, you will notice by the time we get to the invoice, you will see that it is way better than the PDF you showed us a moment ago, containing the same items but more robust and more beautiful. Okay, so so here we have the bill setup. Under the bill setup, this is where you create those fee items that we were talking about a moment ago. Okay, so a school fee that contains tuition means that there will be a tuition item under this bill setup. I repeat, bill setup is the tab where you create all fee items. You can categorize them. You can create all of them without categories. So if you want to categorize them, right here, you click on add category and you can simply say fees and you save that. Okay. Now, the being iterative or being cumulative simply means, do I want to list the items under this category for parents to see, or do I want to accumulate it and simply show them the final verdict? Some people have something like that, like instead of having IT levy, development levy, PTA levy, everything levy individually spread out, sports and all that, they will just put it together as one category and simply call it levies 5,000. But the levies that you are seeing contains development levy 1,000, PTA levy 2,000, sports levy 3,000, something like that. You understand? So that is the difference between iterative and cumulative. So that's basically all about it. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to just create maybe one more category, call it levies. Okay, and iterative, and that's it. So now the field items themselves are created with this green button at the top of the table here. So when you click on create fees, right there, you you fill in the item. So here we have tuition. The category, of course, is fees. Now, remember what we said about the associated account head, that each item can be associated to any account head, even if the account head is different from the one that it is currently being created under. Do you understand?
Would that mean the account head to which is going to be posted?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we add this up, it will generate it, it will create it right here. Okay, so what's the other item on the list?
Lunch.
Lunch. Okay, still the same account head. For now, let's just do everything under the same account head, but eventually.
Okay, let me ask a question.
Yes.
For boarders, right?
Yes.
There's boarding fee, right?
Okay.
These are fees associated with boarding. There's boarding fee itself. There is a boarders lesson.
Okay.
And there is fitness training. These are 3 different fees.
Okay.
Now, is it possible that we could lump all of these 3 in the bill under boarding fees, in which case under categories we create boarding fees as a category
and then lump them up? Yes, you can do that. So if you have boarding fees here as a category, you can simply call it cumulative. So anything that you have as an item under it will not be viewed, will not be seen as an item.
It will just boarding fees.
That's right.
Okay.
That's it. Okay.
So this is just exclusively for presentation of the bill. That's all that there is to this.
God bless you.
It doesn't affect the how the accounts, chart of accounts or anything.
It's as simple as that. It's just a presentation. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so here we can add others. Like, okay, let's add something under boarding fees. You mentioned a few items now. Mention them.
Boarders lesson.
Boarders lesson. Okay. Which will be boarding fees. of course, the for now school fees, but eventually we'll have to create the right
The right account,
account
yes.
head for it. Yeah. Okay. Boarding fees. Which other one? I mean, borders lesson.
Let's say fitness, but just write fitness
Yeah.
training.
Fitness training. Okay. Still boarding fees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we've added these up, and you see. Okay. So I'm just going to refresh because I noticed that some of them don't show up until you refresh. Okay. So the associated account here is school fees account for all of them for now. But when you change it, when we create the right ones under account head, please endeavor to just come back here and put the right one under it. Okay. Just like this one. All right. Okay, so let's add a few more things that belong to fees. In fact, Taiwo, are you there?
Taiwo.
Yes, yes, I'm with you.
Okay, so we have added tuition and lunch. There are five items on that list or more. Can we get them?
IT, IT empowerment.
Sorry?
IT empowerment program.
IT
Empowered
empowerment,
program.
empowered program.
Empowered program. IT empowered program.
That's good. So IT empowered program. Okay. So maybe we still put it under levies this time around. Call the next.
Educational supplies. Educational supplies.
Supplies. Okay. So you see something like this is not fee, it might be something that has to do with stock, right?
Yes.
Books, that's supplies. So you can create a category called supplies, or you can still leave everything together. It doesn't really
We
matter.
still just put it as leave it as fees.
Beautiful. So educational supplies as fees. So what next?
Practicals.
There we are up to 5 or 6. Good.
Practicals.
Practicals.
Beautiful. Practicals. Practicals. Okay. All right. So please endeavor to add more if you need more. Okay.
Okay.
Please add more right here. So that's about bill setup. Now let's see how we use this. You notice that when I added these things, I didn't add amount or anything to it
Yeah.
because this is just a template. This is a library of items. You reuse this any other time. This can be on this system forever. Okay, so there is no need for changing it unless there is actually an absolute need to change anything. But you don't need to come here again as long as it contains the list of every item that goes into your bill. This is the one that you go to very often, the third tab, which is what? Create bill. So this create bill is where you generate the invoices that you send to parents, either in batch or single. Well, everything is always in batch, even if it contains just one item. And there are only 2 steps that are involved. The first step is to select the children or the students that should receive the invoice. The second step is to create the invoice proper. That's the pro forma of the invoice. So the first step, like I said, filters out the list of the students. So let's say the WellSpring College has JS1 to SS3, right? I want to generate the invoice for all JS1 students. I can simply click on JS1 here, and the system will
Sorry, sir.
filter.
Sorry, sir. Before you go forward, sir.
Come again?
Sorry, sir. Paragraph is child is having outstanding. Will it show
We'll get to that.
for previous term?
We'll get to that. We'll call it areas. We'll get to that. Okay, so this is for JS1 students. If I want to do for JS2 students only, I click on JS2 students, and you can see the total of 90 active JS students will receive this invoice if I generate it now. If I select only JS3, total of 104 JS3 students will receive this invoice if I generate it now, and so on and so forth. But if I want to send it to everybody at the same time, I simply forget about filtering the level. And that means that the whole 583 students in the school will receive one invoice. That is what the filter does for you. So right now, let's
Sorry, sir. I did not get where you filtered something. where you select class by class, I did not get
Yes. So when you select a class, it shows you that there are 150 students that will receive this invoice. Because in this JS1, there are 150 students in the whole arm put together. If I select JS2, it will show you that there will be 91 students that will receive this invoice in the whole JS2 arms put together. The same thing goes with JS3, SS1, all of them. Same thing. But if I don't want to select by level, I want to send it to all schools, which I know usually is not the case. JS1 fee is usually different from JS2 fees and everything, right? So most of the time you find yourself just using the levels. The one that seldom happens is the one of going to JS1.
sorry, where do you get those class by class? That's
Can you see my
select level.
screen?
I did not get how you get to
Can you
that.
see my screen?
Yes, I'm seeing your screen. The
Okay.
previous step before that one.
Okay, so previously we were on bill setup. We have done justice to adding items, right? Now the next one is to create bill, which is the next tab.
Yes, that's
It
which
is
we have
this
done.
good. So
Then the next,
the create bill is where we are. And the very first page on that create bill is where you filter the students that will receive the bill you are about to create. And to do that, as you can see here, target group, all you need to do is under select level, select the class of interest. And then under the next tab there, I mean the next text box or rather the drop down list, you can select a class, that's all arm. So you have D, E, F, G, 1C and all that. So if as you are selecting them, the system is filtering down the number of students that will be involved based on these classes. You can see that when I select 1D from JS1, the whole 150 drops to 20, which means 1D contains only 20 out of the 150. I can easily see that. But if I don't want to select by arm, I can remove it by closing it right here. You can just click on the small box there and the selection will disappear. So I'm back to select level 150. So the whole students in JS1 will have one invoice. Do you understand? So you can also go ahead and filter down according to whether they are boarders or day students, right? If you have indicated that in the student's profile, definitely the system will automatically respect it here because in the student profile, there is a place where you tick whether this person is a boarder or a day student. But if it's not applicable, if everybody is a boarder or everybody is a day student, just click not applicable. So it will send it to everyone. If this particular invoice is meant for only girls or boys, you can also filter by gender. So only male students will receive this invoice or only female students will receive this invoice. Something like that, right? So that's basically all about the filter. So you can go ahead
your
and
voice
check
is
them
breaking.
out.
Sorry, sir. Mr. James, your voice is breaking.
Okay, so that's I wanted us not to have much of this intercept. So that's why I advise that we have our mics muted when we are not saying anything. Usually it's actually interference. But you can hear me right now.
I can hear you. I believe you can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that's about filtering. So when you filter it down this way,
So what do you
and
mean by PTA implied students?
okay, so
Does
there
that
is
imply?
yes, yeah, PTA implied students. There is a part of the student's profile that indicates parents, teachers, PTA exemptions. It's not for
Okay.
everybody. So if you actually use it, you would have quickly
Okay.
recognized it. So if you don't recognize it, then it's not for you. That's why I stopped at gender. Okay, so that's about that. And once you have done the filtering, if you click on add group, the whole number of the whole students on this list will be added to this table. And this is it, add group, and we have it 150 students will receive this invoice we are about to generate. And all of them are in JS1. Here is the list. You have Adebisi, you have Edward, you have everybody, up to 150 of them. They are all here. Okay. If this is not what you want, you can simply delete it right here. And if you want to filter down to class, JS1G, for example, just open the next view. That's the select class. Go to 1G, and the system will give you just 16 students, as you can see. And if you click on add group, it will just give you 16 students instead of 150. And here you have it. Okay? And so on and so forth. So that's basic. If this is not what you want, if you just are interested, because filtering is for grouping. What if you are not interested in everybody? Let's say that you generated an invoice and it went to 20 students, and then you're like, oh, I missed one person, he just got admitted. Do you have to come here and use filter to select all 20 again? No. All you need to do is forget about the filtering, list all the students. When you don't filter, all students will be available, right? Then just open the list by clicking on this box right here. Type the name of the student you are interested in. So I'm interested in Edward. So I type Edward. So Edward Vanessa comes up, Edward David comes up. I can click each one of them. If I'm interested in only Edward, that's enough. If I'm interested in Edward Vanessa and Edward David, I will have to click on both of them. That's enough. So when I click on add group now, it adds 2 students only. You can see that this filter does not matter at this point. So here on the list, I have only 2 students. It could have been 1 if that's what I wanted. Okay, so that's about filtering. No much gimmicks. The next is the generation of the invoice itself. So you can either get to it, you can get to it by clicking create invoice or by clicking proceed to invoice. I always prefer proceed to invoice because that means I have seen everything I want to see here, right? And sometimes because based on whether your screen resolution is high above like this, you can see my screen resolution just increased. Sometimes I may not be seeing that top. So because of that, this is always available here. So proceed to invoice, click on it, and it will bring you back to open the invoice proper for you. Remember to select the term in question. What term are you in now? What term are you currently
Second
in?
term.
Second
Second.
term. So you have to select the term and then also give the invoice a title. Usually we have a few titles that we have included in the system. Second term bill. But if you have a different one, you can always add it up. The reason we decided to make the invoice title a drop-down list is to avoid typographic errors. Otherwise, it would have just been a place where you just enter an invoice title. Okay, so second term bill for JS1, for instance, that can serve. So if you have something like that, just open this, create a new invoice title, which is second term bill JSS1. You click OK. The system will add it to the list, and now you can select it. So when you do that, that becomes the invoice title on the template. Okay, now I want to focus on a normal invoice. But later on, you can review the rest, like you can look at invoice in prospect and others. But right now, this is a normal invoice. This is second term you're about to generate invoice. All you need is a normal invoice, just this term invoice. So let's not complicate issues for us. Okay, now you see the list of the items that we created under fees. You see the list of items that we created under levies, and so on and so forth. So all you need to do is, for each category, enter the price of the item for tuition. How much is tuition? How much is your tuition for JS1?
240.
240. So you enter 240 here, and you click the checkbox to add it to the invoice. How much is lunch?
35.
That's fine.
35.
Yes.
And you enter it on the list, the price box, and then you click the checkbox to include it in the list. How much is educational supplies?
40.
40. And how much is practicals? 15. So you can see all of them are under fees, right? But the total is 330. That's not all. under levies, we still have IT powered program. How much is it? How much is IT powered program?
6,500.
65.
6,500.
65. And then still under,
6,500. Yes.
yeah, then under boarding fees, the borders lesson is how much?
20,000.
20,000. And fitness training?
5,000.
5,000. So you see how everything is being properly arranged on the invoice. This is not the final invoice. We'll see the final what the invoice looks like eventually, but this is giving you a real-time calculation of what will be eventually, right? So you can see tuition. I mean, under fees we have 5 items, or four or 5 items, 4 items. Under levy 1, under boarding fees 2. Remember that we made boarding fee a cumulative category. What it means is that these two will not be available for parents to see. They will only see boarding fees 25,000. Do we understand that? Okay, I take that as a yes. So now all you need to do now is to click on generate invoices. I don't want us to bother yet about this imply, instrumental, append previous arrears and all this. Just assume that
James.
this is yes, go ahead.
We're not able to hear you, Mr. James. If you can repeat,
James,
please.
James.
Okay. Can you hear me right
You
now?
went off.
Can you hear me right now? How were this person able to get to me? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I think it comes off and then
Yes.
comes back here.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It's just network. Please pardon me. Pardon them. All right. So, you can still see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So here, I was saying that after adding these, the fees, the levies, and the boarding fees items under each category, you can see that the grand total is in view and everything. So right now, let's assume that this is a normal invoice. There is no arrears, there is no extra payment, there is nothing. Just a normal invoice you give out on a, I mean, in second term. So all you need to do is the blue button right there, generate invoices. So
Hold on, please.
Yes.
Before. Okay. Oh, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes,
But,
go ahead.
what about previous balance and what about discounts?
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is about previous balance. That's why I said, let's not. I don't want us to bother so much about it right away. I want us to create a single normal invoice that does not have any
Okay.
complication.
Okay.
All right. So the step is very simple. Go to create bill, select the target group, that's the filter, and then go over to the invoice proper and key in the prices. All right, and that is it. Usually what I like doing, because if I have to create another invoice now, I'll have to go through this process again. So what we like doing is to click on save as favorite. So if you save this now, it becomes a template per se, so you can always use it again. So you can simply call it school fees template.
Okay. Is this how the bill will appear
Yes,
as it's?
just
But
the
you
way
remember this, the boarding fees. I mentioned that
Thank
we
you very
didn't
much.
want the breakdown showing.
Yes, I'm sure that maybe it was part of the things I said when I was off. I said,
Okay.
for your view, you right now creating this invoice, you can easily see the breakdown.
Yes.
But by the time the invoice is generated, this breakdown will be summed up, and the only thing you can see is body fee 25,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just generate a simple invoice that does not have complication, like I said. Just click on generate invoices, and if there is no problem with this invoice, we will have 2 invoices generated. You can see here, pro forma invoice generated successfully. And if you click on view invoice right now, we have 2 invoices here. Now, can you see boarding fees?
Yes.
It's just 25,000. There is no breakdown. while the fees account has the breakdown because it's iterative, the levies iterative, but boarding fees just one, and that's it. Does this go with what you want?
Yeah, it does. Also, another thing we usually do on can you scroll up? Let me see what's up there.
Okay, so there are two invoices out
Okay,
here. So this is just one of them.
due date transaction. Um, well, we usually write, there are some notes we write,
At
we
the
include
bottom.
at the bottom, maybe when fees are
Perfect.
due and how payments, well, because
Beautiful.
not everybody will pay online, to include the
Okay.
account details and other modes of payments that they
Yeah.
might want to explore,
Yeah.
all that notes.
Okay.
So, is there provision for that?
Yes, there is. Okay, so here we're going to generate another. Remember what we just did now? Very simple invoice, no complication. So let's have two more invoices with different scenarios of complications, right? So this invoice I just generated, please don't expect it in your emails or anybody's email because it has not been published.
Yeah.
So bill batches, if you go to bill batches, you will see the invoice batch that just got generated. There are two invoices on it, and those two invoices are expected to have a total of 723,000 naira expected. And you can retrieve this bill as long as no payment has been done on it. Or you can simply go ahead and publish it by clicking on this. If you click this to ask you, do you want to publish it? It's only when you publish it that parents receive it. They receive the email notification, and of course, when they get to their dashboard, they also see the invoice and they can make online payments. But right now, I'm not publishing it because it's a test schematics, all right? Okay, so let's create one more bill. This time around, let's add a footnote to it. Just a simple footnote. Okay, so I generate a new invoice for a different student. This time around, I'm selecting a DBC. I believe you can still see my screen. Am I still audible?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
you
hear
are.
you.
Perfect. Okay, so right now I just selected just Adebisi Jardin, and you can see it here. It's just one student. So proceed to invoice, and this time around, still for second term invoice, second term bill JS1. And because I don't want to fill this again, I'll just select the favorites that I saved previously, and the system will automatically fill them in for me.
Uh, Mr.
We
James,
Yes,
cannot.
please.
we missed you for a bit or so. I think we lost a minute or so, some seconds.
Wow. Okay. So I repeat what I just did. So under create bill, right? I first
Yeah.
of all, I showed you where the bill batches are.
Yes, yes,
Good.
so that.
All right. So under create bill, I'm saying I want to create just one bill for Jardine this time around. But this time I just want us to see where to add footnotes. During the creation of the invoice, you can add a footnote to it, and this is how to do it. First of all, I'm creating for just one person, so I'm not going to use the rest of the filter. I'm just going to go directly and click on Adebisi Jardin and then add to group. Proceed to invoice, right? I could have just started to fill in school fees, tuition, and everything because I know the prices. Or I can simply go to the ones that I saved previously, which I called school fees template. Click on it, and the system will automatically pre-fill the rest of the invoice for me. Of course, remember to select the term in question, key in the title, right? And then proceed to generate. But before you generate, do you see this invoice note? Click on it and it will show you this text box. Here you can add your notes. Please note, all payments must be made online. Okay, for for convenience. Yeah, you can pay in UBA account as follows. Yeah, so here you can give them your UBA account details and the account name and everything. Okay, kindly provide your teller for confirmation. So that's your footnote, right?
Sorry, I did not get that you had it. You had it.
So it's right here. The footnote is just a button here. So if you don't want to put footnote, keep it as not applicable. But if it's applicable, just click on the button. It opens up and you can write whatever you want to write inside. Okay.
I'm
Of course,
coming. I
of
did not.
course, of course, we will see how the footnote is right above the yellow. Is right above the yellow note. Toggle invoice note. Can you see toggle invoice note? There is a button there, so just click on it. It opens up the text box. You can add a
Okay,
note.
okay. I've seen it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to send this out as just one complication. Then we'll look at another complication. All right. So I want to take the complexities of the invoice generation one after the other. I don't want us to mix it up. I want us to get them each, even though all of them can be applied at once. But I want us to see each one of them the way it looks. All right. So this is the invoice. So you can see where the footnote shows up. Okay, and that's it. All right. Now, let's also look at arrears. Let's say that a child previous first term you have not paid your first term bill, and now we are generating second term bill. Abby?
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Are you going to give us a manner because it seems you are a bit fast? I cannot judge.
Oh,
Are you going to give us a manner to follow?
okay. So this is on record. So I'll find a way, send out the record on either YouTube or Drive, and then share the link with you so you can download them.
So that I
Okay.
can study at my leisure time. Please try to.
That's fine. Okay. So um, the next complication that we usually find is a case where the students, let's say the first student that we gave this bill, what was the name? Edward David. Edward David is currently owing for second term, and now we are about to generate third term bill. What does that mean? It means that Edward is currently owing us. So how do we get that bill? How do we get that payment? We can attach that payment to this new bill and close the previous invoice, because anytime you do an arrears on invoice, remember that this is accounting, right? So, and when you're doing accounting, usually either on termly basis or on session basis, you close the account, you do audit. So anything that is in that closed account is a debt that concerns that previous year or term. So if you are creating a new invoice and there is a debt to be cleared, even if that debt is cleared in the current invoice, right, it does not reflect anymore to the closed account, because in that closed account, from now till next year, that is a closed account. It was a debt as of last year, but this year that debt of last year was paid. So what happens is that when you append previous bill, can you see it? Append previous bill arrears to this bill. If you say yes by clicking on the button, the system will look for everywhere, every invoice previously generated for David, collect all of them, anywhere that he's currently owing, collect all of them and append it to this one. Do you understand? So when the parent or whoever wants to make payment, they will see arrears on this one. So let's see that quickly. So footnotes not applicable. Okay, let's apply it since we have already entered something on it, right? So footnote is there, and now we are appending previous bill arrears to this bill. Yes. And now when we generate this invoice, you will notice that apart from the current items on this invoice, that the previous arrears will also be attached to it. So let's see how that works. Am I still audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
James,
Yes, please.
this appending, I don't know, previous arrears to bill, should
Yes.
it not be like a default feature? Because even when you're billing in batches, class by class, there will be people. We don't need to start going to it. Okay, let me. I mean, it should be a system thing. Automatically, the system should go through all their accounts and then pull up any arrears that's that might be that's any unpaid arrears and attach to the new bill.
Okay. So we would have done that. We actually carried out a survey on that note, and over 80% wouldn't want that automatically. So we had to make it optional.
Ah.
That's the
Okay, so
problem.
in billing in batches,
Yes.
if you are billing in a class, if you
Yes.
click on that, would that
That's
apply
it
to
applied to
everybody in that
everybody
class?
in that batch. Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
as long as that works that way.
Yeah. So, and all you need to do is click on that, and you see, first of all, at the top, you see the normal generation, right? So after the subtotal of 361, it shows you the areas. So there is a second bill for JS1 with the reference number of that bill, 361,000 still there as an area. So you have these total areas, which when added to this subtotal gives you 753. So this is what is expected to be paid on this invoice. If you try to access the one here now, you will notice that the invoice has been locked down. The invoice has been closed. You cannot make payment on it. We'll get to that. We'll see all this scenario that we are currently generating. We'll see where they all are applicable on the invoices themselves. Now, I would have said let's go straight and see an invoice that concerns part payment. That is the one that has instrumental payment on
Sorry,
it.
so what of someone that has a credit balance?
That's what I was just mentioning. I would have said let's go straight and see allowing instrumental payment, but because there is nobody that currently has a credit balance, all right? So let's take it one after the other. So let's look at this guy. The one that you just mentioned now is what we call imply wallet balance. You call it credit balance. We call it wallet balance. It's the same thing. So if you click on it, say yes, right? Any invoice that you generate and somebody is currently having a credit in his wallet as a parent, the invoice that is being generated will be less the amount of that credit. Yeah, that's how it works. But for now, because we don't have anybody of such, let's just leave that part and go back to analysis. Okay, so here on the analysis, we have generated a few invoices, and you can see that the first one, Edward, not paid. The second one, Edward David, this time around, not paid but locked. Can you see it? Account closed. Why is it closed? Because this 361 was appended to the second bill that Edward was given, which is right here. So if you try to access this, the system will tell you that you cannot make any payment on this. And if you want to see where it was applied, that is the invoice where it was taken to, you can just click on this and it will open the invoice for you. So this is the invoice that currently bears the arrears. This is the only invoice you can make, you can reconcile that invoice with. Okay, so but here is my point. If a parent is to make this payment, let's assume that we published this. We are not publishing. Currently, have you given access to the portal to your parents? Have you given your parents access
Not
to this
yet.
portal? Okay,
Not
not yet. Okay,
not yet.
not yet.
But I
So
still prefer you don't publish, please.
okay, that's fine. So so this is what we're going to do. We're going to first of all start with manual reconciliation. Eventually, when parents start making their own payments, then definitely they will see the parents' view. So currently, this is what this is mostly where Peter, this is where you will be working mostly, because currently I expect that they will be paying using teller, bank draft, and other means of payment, right? So this is where you do your reconciliation. So to collect or reconcile Edward Vanessa's payment now, let's say that Edward has made a payment, that the parent has made a payment of 361,500. All you need to do is click on this status. It opens the dialog box or modal. where you will see extra details concerning this particular payment. Can you see that? All right. And you can simply collect this payment. So to collect the payment or to reconcile it, all you need to do is fill this small box. Yeah, that's about four or five um, uh, details. Just fill it in and you are done. So how do you do that? First of all, select the payment method. Was it cash or teller or debit card or internal transfer, whatever the person used to make the payment, right? And then if it's not there, if this list does not contain your own payment method, let's say it was bank teller, you can simply type it in here, bank teller. Okay, now if it's a bank teller, that means it was paid into a bank. Which of the banks? Remember that we entered bank list, right? We entered account list when we were doing setup. That account list is right here. So is it UBA 1 or Fidelity 2? Let's say it's UBA 1. So we select it from here. And then what is the teller number? You simply key it in here. And then here you confirm the amount you are collecting. Now, this is also where we do excess collection. So by default, the 361,500 has been keyed in the box. But if what you are collecting is 370,000, all you need to do is wipe this and enter the 370,000. The system will recognize that as excess, and the system will put the excess into the wallet. So, but for now, let's just do a normal reconciliation, no excess. All right. So this is 361,500 and the transaction date is today. So all we need to do is click on 24th, 12:05 and we click on confirm payment. Very simple, straightforward, no complication. So at this point, a mail will be generated, an invoice will be sent out, and the invoice will be marked as paid and all that. So we come back to this. When this whole process is done, you can see the invoice will be marked as paid. Can you see that? And that is it. A reference number will be generated and
Okay,
everything. So
if the parent paid online and paid the
yes,
full amount, would this have been done automatically?
automatically you won't even have
Would it?
to. Yes, and then
Okay.
you will receive a correspondent mail based on that email address that you entered when we are doing setup here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it works basically. Okay. So here we have just one paid invoice, three unpaid invoices. So this is the basics of reconciliation. No, there's no hustle, there's no complication. Just open this, click on the
Uh,
status, click on the status to make the payment, to initialize the payment. All right. We are going to we're going to demonstrate excess payment now.
everything.
Okay, we're going to demonstrate excess payment now. Before we do that, let's look at the wallet. This is the wallet manager. Okay, this is where you see the list of all the parents. So currently
Hold
there
on.
are are these the only parents you have? No, but these are the
No.
only ones that currently have wallets. So all you need to do to generate for the others is just to click on this blue button. When you click on this blue button, the
Oh,
system,
okay.
yes, the system will simply
Okay.
create an instance of credit holder for the rest of the parents. And here you have it, 588. You don't have to do this every time, but if you have new students, new parents, just click on it. Anybody who doesn't have, the system will automatically generate for the person. All right, and that's it. So you can see Mr. and Mrs. Stanley, Elua, and every other person down there. So that's it. Now, the reason I said let's generate this is
Sorry, how do you
because,
get
sorry,
wallet?
come again. No,
How
okay.
do you
So,
get to wallet?
so I believe this is Peter talking, right? Okay,
Yes.
so Peter, you don't have access
Yeah,
to wallet management right
Taiwo,
now. Yeah,
yeah.
Taiwo. You don't have access to wallet manager right yet. We can add that to your to things that you can manage since it also concerns accounts. All right. So to do that, madam, you agree? Ewere?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Perfect. So module permissions, accountant, So we look for wallet manager right there. Again, we just remove the one that concerns parents, and then we click update. Okay, so with that, you should have access to wallet manager and others. So okay, so if you log out and log in, that's if you refresh your login, you should have wallet manager module now. Okay, Peter. All right, so
Okay.
all right, so let's continue. So under manage accounts, we are looking at, we have already seen, so we have seen the payment of one invoice. We are actually going to look at the payment of excess on one other invoice. Then we also look at the payment of less. That's when you have arrears. Okay, that's when you have instrumental payment rather. That's because sometimes people come in and they tell you, oh, we don't want to have, we don't have the 361 to pay once. We'll pay 3 times or 4 times, right? So they pay 100,000 this week, and then next month they're paying 200,000 and something like that. So that's called instrumental payment or part payment, whatever you call it, right? So, and we'll see how that works in our system. But before that, let's start with excess. So let's look at ABC Jardine. Currently, there is no wallet balance. You can see there is no credit, Abi. And now, instead of 361,500, they decide to make a bank deposit in UBA of a total of 370,000. 370,000. What that means is that when the system collects 361,500, the balance of, I think, about 30 something thousand should go to the wallet. Let's see how that works. So here again, the date is today. If the date is previous, always kindly endeavor to choose the right date, and then confirm payment. So when I confirm this payment now, this invoice will be cleared, but the excess will be sent.
Sorry, I cannot say I have access to the wallet. I don't have access to the wallet.
I don't think you logged out.
No, I refreshed. I did not log out.
No, I told you to log out. Refresh your login. That's log out and log back in. Okay, so here we have 361,500 paid, right? But if we open the invoice, we will see that that what was actually paid is, can you see? The amount that was collected is 370,000. So the excess 8,500 was credited to the wallet, which you can see when we go to the wallet itself now. So if we go to the wallet right here, wallet manager, right, and we search for DBTC's parent, or simply try to arrange this in order of, descending or ascending order, you see Mrs. Oluwakemi Adebisi currently credited 8,500, which came from that excess. Now, if I generate a new invoice for Adebisi now, this 8,500 will automatically be deducted, depending on if you want it anyways. So again, this is also one of the things that we made optional, because yes, on a normal day, you cannot have your money and you'll be owing us. We should deduct what you are owing us from the money we have, right? From your money that we are collecting. Good. But again, because of the disparity between users, we also made it optional. So let's generate an invoice for Adebisi and see how this 8,500 will culminate in the final invoice. Okay, so here we have, please look at this quick note. You notice that each time I open this, that this place is usually empty. Look at this quick note. The dashboard loads the active term as default. You can reset all terms by clicking on the refresh button at the top here. So you see all terms. But you can also change your active term, because currently the reason why this place is showing empty is because your active term does not have any invoice. And this is where you set your active term under account period management. a particular account period, that is 2021 account period, you can see that your current term is first term. If we change it to second term here, that becomes the active term. So that when we go to our manage accounts, right, every second term invoice will show here, just the second term invoices. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Good. But if you want to see all in this session without minding their terms, just click on the loader button. That's the all buttons right there, and it will show you whether first term, second term, or third term. All of them will show here. So as you can see, this is second term, this is third term. All right. So now we have used ADBC Jarden to do excess payment. Now let's generate an invoice for ADBC where, I mean, for a third term, of course, where the credit balance will be implied. That is our target. So to do that, again, bills, create bill, right? And then we look for ADBC's name in the list. ADBC Jarden. There, right there. So we add to group, proceed to invoice, choose third term this time around. Okay, so if we generate a third term bill, okay, right here, you see imply credit balance or wallet balance. In our own context, it's wallet we call it, but in your own context, you call it credit, right? So here we have it. It says imply wallet balance on this bill. The answer is yes. So once you do this, so as you can see, I can imply wallet balance. I can also imply arrears immediately. So if you are owing previously, it will come in. If you currently have a credit, it will come in on the same invoice. I think I went off again, right?
Yes, you went off for a while.
Sorry. Okay, so but you can still see my screen, Abby.
Yes, you can
No,
see your screen.
You can still see
no,
my
we
screen.
cannot.
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Peter,
yes,
can you confirm?
yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so here I was saying that let me know. I don't know where you heard last. Can you hear me?
No, we did not.
Hello, Mr. James.
Yes, can you hear me?
You went off again.
Oh my God. Can you hear me right now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So we were on the verge of generating an invoice for Jardine Adebisi, whose parent currently has a credit balance, so that we can see how the credit balance gets used up during the generation of another invoice. So, and to do that, again, we simply go to bills, right? Create bill. Okay, and we select Adebisi's name. That's all. So when we select her name or his name, I don't know, is it a male or female? Well, I don't know, but Adebisi is the name. So we add to group, proceed to invoice, and this time around we are generating a third term invoice. So third term bill, and we use our favorites that we have saved previously, so it automatically fills up the invoice list. Now remember, we have looked at where to add footer notes, so we can click on this and add a footnote, right? And then we can append previous bill by clicking on this box. Now we can imply credit, that's the credit balance, by clicking on the last button there, which is imply wallet balance on this bill. So once you click on this, If you don't click on that, nobody is touching that wallet. So just bear that in mind. And if you do this
But
for this batch, it will imply to all students that are in this batch. It's not just one person.
okay, James,
Yes,
for a parent that has maybe a parent has three children and he has maybe 100,000 in the wallet, you know,
yes.
for us, this implied wallet balance is going to be like a default setting. So is it
Okay.
that the wallet balance will apply to the first
The
child
very
that is
first,
billed?
the very first one that
Okay.
the 100,000 goes to.
Okay.
Yes, the very first child. Okay, so with this, we generate the invoice, and this time around, we will notice that first of all, the invoice will be converted to an instrumental invoice, and then a part payment will be made on it. So here is the part payment that was made, 8,500 part payment. Can you see that? That is coming from the wallet balance. So now we are left with 353,000 to pay.
Can you scroll up again, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what the
How
system
much was
actually
the difference? Sorry, how much was the wallet balance?
8,500.
8,005.
Yes.
So
I know
it
you
was
must be
applied
wondering.
to
Yes. So part
yeah
of it was applied to IT because
then
it could cover IT, but the
okay.
2,000
So
left
what
could
of the
not
remaining
be implied
2,000?
could not be implied to anyone, but it was still taken on the invoice generally.
Okay.
Yeah. So it still gives you the 8,500, even though it could clear only one. The system will just quickly look at the whole items. Okay, is there any item that can be knocked off quietly? Yes, there is one. It knocks it off. You understand? Marks it as paid. But the rebalance is on the general invoice note. So that's it. So 8,500 is the total payment. And now the balance is this. And you can see that the invoice is marked as uncleared. It's a different nomenclature, is a different tag or terminology from unpaid. If it's unpaid, that means the invoice cannot collect less than the total amount. But if it's uncleared, that means that the invoice has been activated for partial payments reception. That's part payments, instrumental payments. So once you have a wallet
Okay.
balance, the system automatically converts the invoice to a part payment enabled invoice.
Okay, so I assume that would also mean that instrumental payment will be a default setting.
It's not a default setting.
We would have to keep it like
You
it
would
as a
also
default setting.
exactly. So full payment is default, but instrumental
So we would
payment
have
is
to always make sure we check the instrumental payment
if you
button.
want that, yes. And we always advise not to, so that they
Okay.
don't on their own part get used to that. However, anybody request for it is a simple thing now because um, at the point of payment, this invoice that was just generated now, or even this one, at the point of payment reconciliation, if you receive 500,000 here, you don't have to tell the person already told you what I paid is 500,000, so you can't kill the person. All you need to do is just come to the invoice reconciliation page, change the instrumental payment slot, click on this button to
So if you
change.
don't change it, what happens?
You cannot pay half payment. You cannot pay make
You
payment.
can't
It can't accept. The
reconcile that
system will
payment.
not
Okay.
no. The system will not collect it. You must convert it to instrumental payment enabled invoice before you can collect part payment on it. Okay, so that's about the clearance of the wallet. Of course, if we go back to the wallet manager now and we look at Adebisi's mother, if we look at her her invoice right now, you see that it has been debited 8,500 also, apart from the credit. So if you look at credit, you will see 85. If you look at debit, you also see 85. Can you see that?
I can't see. Okay, yeah.
So the balance is zero. And if you want to see the details of the credits and debits, you can see details right there. Click on it and it will show you the credit list. This is the date that it was credited. And if you go to debit list, you will see the invoice that was debited, 8,500. If you click on this, it will still show you that same invoice and its current status. Okay, so that's about that. Okay, so let's try to wrap up the invoice bill generation and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I have. Okay, we haven't done discounts.
thank you very much. I was going to ask, what are the other use cases so that we can be focused, can be kind of directed. Okay, so when it comes to discount, there are two ways of entering discounts. The first way is adding the discount before the invoice is generated. The second way is opposite of that, generating the invoice, then creating the discount. Whichever way you go, you will still have to imply the discount on the invoice. Let's see how that is done. If you do invoice, if you do discount creation before invoice generation, the system will automatically imply the discount on the invoice while generating the invoice. But if you have generated the invoice already, and then you went and created a discount instance for a particular child, you will have to go back to the invoice and imply the invoice, the discount. So let's see the two scenarios. First, let's create a normal discount. So where do you create discounts? This is discount management. Can you see it? Finance module, manage discounts. So under manage discounts, you can create any type of discount that you care about, the percentage or exact amount. So give me one invoice discount that you usually create. What do you call it? What do you call one? Give me one of your invoices, the discounts you
Let's
usually.
say multiple words discount.
Multiple words discounts. So
And staff work discount.
multiple words discount. Is it in percentage?
Wow.
Percentage
Okay,
on tuition.
even for multiple words, the discount that applies
It's
to
English.
question that has two words different from one that has three words. So
Perfect.
maybe we should say, I don't know. So that multiple words, the discount can let's assume person has two children.
Perfect.
So it's
So it goes to one of the
Taiwo, what
children.
is it? 5% on what? I think 5% on it's 5% on tuition.
Perfect. So here now you see that you have already you have already conditioned the discount. You are not applying the discount on the whole invoice. You're applying it
No.
only on tuition. That makes it
Yes.
the item scope. That makes it item scope discount. That is on a
Okay.
particular item, not on the invoice total. So
Okay.
the discount type is what? Item scope. And you said it's in percentage, so which means you leave this guy as percentage, not exact fee. And then you enter the
Okay.
percentage in the discount unit box. Of
5%.
course, right here, you will have to select the tuition because that is where you want to apply it. It does not concern the rest, so you apply it on tuition. So it's a
Okay, so
5%.
can we change this multiple words to two words discount so
Perfect.
that we can have three words and
Perfect. So
four
we
words?
have two words discount. Okay, and then you just click on this and it is created. So we can have three words discounts, which may be different, maybe 10% or something like that, right? And it keeps going up. So right now, to create it is a very simple. Just click on new
Okay,
discount
so
type.
one please before we okay yes. So there's another discount is staff words discount.
Perfect.
Now
So
that discount is applicable on
all
most items, not all, but most.
most perfect. So it's
Yes,
still
most
item scope.
items.
The only difference is that so yeah, item scope. I think I'm off again. Can everybody see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, let me just refresh.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, that's fine. All right, so you called it what? Staff.
staff words. Staff word discount.
Okay, okay. It's still item scope.
Okay.
The only thing now is that it applies to multiple items. So tuition, what again?
Lunch,
Lunch, what
Lunch,
again?
everything.
Everything.
borders.
Body
It's not
fluid.
everything,
Yes,
Taiwo.
everything.
Doesn't apply to uniform. Doesn't apply to
No,
transport.
okay, it's only uniform that
Okay,
is
so it
not there.
applies to everything that
That we currently
is
have on the
yeah,
list.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is, I mean, we are just using this as a sample, right? You will
yeah.
definitely do this properly, but you can see
Okay.
that
huh?
you can apply this to
Select
several
okay. Okay,
items
okay, in one go.
in one go. So what it means is that if these items are found on that invoice, each of them would
Okay.
receive this exact percentage
Okay.
of discount. So what's the discount unit?
75.
75.
Yes.
You're giving your staff the enjoy it. So as long as you have kids, you can teach here. As long as you teach here, your children are on free education. So that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you click on proceed, and the system will generate that. So here you have the list of all the items that are linked to that bill: school fees, lunch, borders, fitness, and everything. Right? So these are the only items that will receive this discount, this 75% discount. All right. Now let's link this up to one child. We link this one to a child. We link this one to a child. So how do you do that? You can see the link tab discount, the link discount tab.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you click on that, the system loads up all your 500 and something students, all of them. You can filter down again, like we did before, under school fees bill generation. This is the sub filter for it. So let's say we want to attach the 2 words discount to one of the children we know. Give me a child that has this 2 word discount. Do you have anyone in mind right away? Or should I just
For
2 word
just
discount?
select anyone, it's still just a demo.
Beautiful. So let's say Adeko. Okay. Let's say
Oh,
Adeko.
okay. I think it will help if we are sure that that person had to. Well, does it make any difference?
It doesn't really. Right now it's a demo,
It
but
does.
yeah. But you
Okay, so just
should.
attach it to one child.
Yes, you attach it to one of the
Okay.
children of that
Okay.
particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay, use Elua, Faustina, GS2. Elua, Faustina, Pauline, Faustina, GS2.
Okay.
Elua,
Which of these? Amarachi or Chinonyer?
Amarachi,
Amarachi.
the
Perfect.
first one. Yeah.
Beautiful.
the
So
one.
that's it. So once you do this, Amarachi is now on 2 words discount.
Okay.
Now,
What of
do
the
you have?
other this filter and this other
Yes. So
fields? What
you
are they
can.
for?
Yes, just the same way that we did for. So if we want to use the filter, right? That means we don't want to select a particular child. We want to select everybody that is maybe a border, or everybody who is a male student, or everybody who is a last child or something like. So we can just do that, and we save that in.
Okay.
Okay.
Instead of
Instead
selecting a
of
specific
selecting the
student.
child
Okay.
directly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, we didn't link anybody to staff
Discount
words.
lifespan. There's something on discount
Yes. Oh
lifespan.
yeah, yeah. So the lifespan, how do you use that? Let's say the child is in JS3 and you
Yes.
want this discount to run from JS3 to SS2.
Okay.
That means that you want to give the person 2 years discount.
Okay.
That is about 6 terms. First term, second term, third term, 2 years. That's 6. So you can put a lifespan of 6 right here. Maximum usage.
Okay.
That means after the 6 usages, the system will lock the person out of the invoice, out of the discount. That's what it does. Okay, so can I have a child also that is on staff works discount?
In what
Just
class?
speaking.
Any child, any class, just
In SS, in GS1,
yeah, JS1 too. Yeah.
Omunagbo, Mercy, Omunagbo,
Or
yes.
more.
No, I don't. That.
Omo, yes, Omo.
I don't
Igbo
think
is
that's
not
it.
Okafor.
What this woman's Pagma, Pepi,
Okay, Panga is not in GS1.
doesn't matter the
Panga
class.
No,
is,
This
the
can
class
select any
doesn't matter.
class.
Yeah. Okay.
Pagma, pick any of them.
okay.
Any of them. Okay. So let's say we add Babam Pearl to staff works discount.
Okay.
So with this now, I link discount again, and that's it. So here we have the first discount here, which is 2 words discount, one person linked. The second one person linked, right?
Okay.
Now let's generate
So,
invoice
and
for the
I assume we can get the details under action. We can get the details that
yes,
is the list
as
of those that.
exactly. So if you click on
Okay.
details, you will see the list of the children. Can you see this one?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. All right, so that's about that. And now you can see that these ones I created them before I even generated invoice for them, and it can stay here for as long as the system is on. As long as those children are in the school, they will be on this discount.
Yeah.
Good. So
Yes.
you don't need to come back here for them unless you have other people. But this is how to
Okay.
to add the distance. So right now I'm going to generate an invoice that will encompass Elo Amarachi and Baban, just the two of them in one invoice. Let's see what the discount does to their invoices. So this is manage accounts, and of course I'm going to bills, and under bills I'm going to create bill. So you can see that this is repetitive, right? I mean, it makes it easy for you to really like get used to the flow, right? Just go to a particular account, click on bill, create bill, and you are in. Okay, so here Eloa Marachi is one, and then Babang Pearl is two. So I want to generate two invoices for second term. Okay, and right now I'll use the normal one, right? So you see there is no place here. The discounts are automatically added. So if I click on generate invoice right now, I don't have to do anything else. No group created. Okay, so I thought I added students. Okay, sorry, add group. Are we still together?
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
okay, all right. So I don't know, I didn't click on add groups. So all right, so two students, Elo Amarachi and Babon. All right, so here we have proceed to invoice and fill the second term, the title, the invoice template, and then we click generate. So when we click on this generate now, the system will generate the two invoices. But let's look at what the invoices look like as a result of the discounts that we are implied on them. So view invoice. Can you see tuition is supposed to be how much? 240, but a discount of 12,000 has been applied on it, which is 5%. So we have a total of two words discounts. I mean, we have applied discounts, right? Minus 12,000. So that means that what we expected to collect from this person now is now how much? 349,500. For the second person, however, there are out of these maybe 6 items or thereabout that are on the system, right? These items received what do you call it? Staff words discount. Let me see. I noticed something different here. It seems like tuition received about four of the discounts. Okay, I'll have to check the discounts I implied. Maybe yeah, I don't know why it's repeating here. It's repeating tuition, lunch, borders, fitness training. Okay, all of them are not the same. So these are the four items, the 4 or 5 items that are part of the invoices. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. This is just listing the items that are part of the staff words discount. Okay, but it's not all of them that should be 3,700. Some should be. I think I clicked on tuition and lunch. I'll check the discount itself. But what we are looking at now is each one of them, how much discount is being taken from it. You can see this one. This one is 35. So 75% was taken. This one, 180,000. That's 75% of 240. So that is meant to be the same thing across the span. So at the end of the day, the whole discount that is taken is minus 125. So if you remove 225 from 361.5, the balance is 136.5, and that is what we should be expecting from this invoice. I'll check on these ones to ensure that this is the values, the names are fine, but the values are wrongly, either it's repeating the value of one of them, maybe the last one or something. I think that's what it's doing. This last one, I think it's repeating the value
But
here.
that
Yeah.
but that one doesn't even show the discount.
Exactly. So I'll check on this to see
They
why.
all need to show the
Yes,
discount, right?
yes. So I'll check on that. But then the value is correct because the 75% of this, 75% of this, I think borders is part of it. Okay, see, the other two, fitness training and borders lesson, are under boarding fee, which is hidden. Remember,
Okay.
the boarding fees is cumulative, so the individual items are not available. So
No, even that wouldn't give you that 3,750.
okay, so
That won't give you that.
to be sure of what this is doing, because I want to be sure of this. So let's open it up by going to view setup, changing the category to from cumulative to iterative. Okay, so that we can see the. So I'm going to build batches now to see the invoices one more time. Okay. All right. So here we have it. I think it's just the last one that was being repeated across the four of them, but each one of them already has. So the labeling is what we need to look at. The labeling of the invoices, that's not a problem. But the invoices, the discounts have been properly applied. The first one, 180. The second one, 260, 26. The third one, and the fourth one. So I think what it now did was it just kept repeating the 3,750 across all of them, which is wrong. But yeah, so we look at that. It's not a problem, all right? So that's about that, and you can see that the discounts are properly applied, and the final verdict is 136,500. Okay, so apart from this listing, this detailing, the price detailing, I think everything else is fine. Do we agree? Do we agree? Are we
I
still
think
here?
so.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All
Yeah,
right.
okay, so there's one
The
more
detailing
discount.
is fine.
Yes. Go on.
There's one more discount, which is discount on let's say pre or advance payments,
So
prepayment. So
prepayment.
usually, if well, can have two scenarios. Maybe a parent comes and says, "Okay, I want to pay in advance. I want to prepare for the entire session."
Wow.
So
Nice. Okay.
what's the discount going to be?
Okay.
And then there's another scenario where is a standard procedure kind of if you have a certain if you have up to a certain amount of credit, or like we say, so that certain amount of credit in your wallet, let's put it that way, maybe up to 200,000,
Okay.
as at the time we are billing,
Yeah.
and that amount has been in there for a minimum of maybe 3 months.
Okay.
There's a discount we apply on that credit
On that credit
before billing for the term. So there are two different scenarios now
for
for
prepayment.
prepayment. Yeah.
Okay, so basically the system already covers that, but you would have to. We can do it together, but you have to figure out how to. Number one is that such invoices will not be generated together with the rest, because when you do that,
Okay.
it will try to apply it to every invoice. You understand? So such invoices you will have to maybe first of all attach it to the child, and then, in
Or can
fact,
we seeing that this is not a fixed case, it's not a default case.
thank you.
Today, this time you can apply and we never apply
Thank
again.
you.
So I'll prefer not to set that up,
Thank you.
but maybe deal with it on an
On an
individual
individual
basis
basis.
as it comes up. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to see. So how do we manage? How do we do that on an individual basis here?
Thank you very much. So to do it on individual basis, there is what we call a waiver. Okay, so let's generate an invoice for a lay person, someone totally out of the invoice discount scope. So we create a bill, and So we select one of these neutral students. Let's say I generate an invoice for Atia. Okay, and this time around, still for the second term bill, and exactly the same amount as others. Simple invoice, no complications. Of course, if you view it, everything is still okay right now, right? But here is what happens when we use a waiver on this invoice. So you use a waiver where you don't want the discount to be a permanent one or a regular one, right? You use what we call a waiver. So here again, you know how to get to this, right? Status. That's where you click on to open the dialog. So there's what we call a waiver. Can you see this? Use waiver. So when you click on use waiver, what the system does is gives you an opportunity to choose the exact amount you want to remove from this 361,500. Let's say we want to remove 120,000 from it. And then what's the reason? So here now you can easily tell us the reason. What's the reason now?
Just say prepayment.
Break payment. Okay, and then of course you enter your password. This one requires authentication from the person who is giving the waiver. So this is where you come in, madam. So your password must be, in fact, you should do this from your own link. Well, any accountant can do it, but the reason we require this password is we are not restricting who will do this, but we are keeping a trail, an audit trail of the user. Do you understand? So I don't even know if I know Olariade's password right now. So I'm going to just try our default password, which I doubt if it will work. He ought to have changed his password by now. But if it works, you see, password is incorrect, so I can't do this. But that is all it takes. Just
So let me understand. What
Yeah.
password would it accept exactly? An admin
and
password
the
or
person,
what?
the person who is currently logged on.
The person who is currently logged on. So
Yes.
that's and okay, of course, that would be the password the person using
In
login on.
logging in, yes. Okay. So and that is all it takes anyways. I wouldn't want to meddle with this right now. So you do that at your convenience. But that's all it takes. So when you do that, is an instant discount application that does not have to be repeated on the next invoice. Some other
So
similar
let
way
me
uses.
ask.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me let me ask.
Yes.
This 120, as me, it was 120, right?
Yes.
That was applied. Um, it reduces the value of the fee, right, for that person.
No, the fee remains 361, but the final
Exactly. So
receivable
that 120,
will
how
be
what
recorded as a
where does it
discount.
get as what?
Will be
A
recorded as
discount.
a discount. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it together. Peter, have you changed your password?
Not
Taiwo,
yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. So I'm going to log in as Peter now, and we do it together right here. Or can you do it from your own angle? Let share your screen and do it from your own angle. I'll stop sharing now. Share your screen and do it from your page. Are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you. I said share your screen and perform this waiver operation. Present now and perform this waiver operation. I want to be sure that you can do it. That's number one. And more importantly, let's do it with your password that has not been changed.
I'm going to. It's on managed discount, Abby.
Yes, but share your screen first. Present now so that we can see you.
I've shared my screen already. Can you see me?
Not yet.
You should be able to see.
Oh, can you see Peter's screen?
I can't see Taiwo. We can't see your screen, no.
You see it
Okay, I
now.
think now it's coming up.
Okay, nice. All right.
Can you see now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so go to manage accounts.
Like I'm a manager account already.
No, you're on manage
I'm a manager.
account.
Okay, I manage this account.
I said manage accounts. Just click on manage accounts.
Manage accounts.
Yes, click on it.
Yeah,
Good.
you see.
Now look at the invoices down there. There is one particular invoice that we just created. The very
For
last invoice for
Atia,
Atia. Yes.
I think
So
okay.
open it. Yes.
I should click it.
No, click on the status. That's where we. Yes, the status.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
James,
Yes.
James,
Yes, please.
sorry, just sorry to interrupt, just so I don't forget, this question I want to ask.
Yes.
Now, in what these invoices that are listed here, assuming we have billed or prepared the bill for all, maybe is it bill all bills that have been prepared that show up here?
Exactly. Whether paid or
Like
unpaid,
500 and something bills will all
all of
show
them
up
will
here.
show up there. Yes.
So, if you want to identify the student, how do you go about? Is there a search option
Yes,
on
there is a
how?
search
What order
box.
is
There's a search option at
search
the top right of the table.
at the top right? Okay, okay.
Yes. In fact, use it now. Taiwo,
Taiwo,
Yes.
close this and
Yes.
use the search box to get at Atia.
How will I close? I don't
Either
know.
you press escape or you scroll down and click on cancel.
Okay, I can see that. Yes.
Okay, so scroll down to the top of this table.
Okay.
Yeah, can you see a search box? The table, the table, the table.
Okay. 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 I'm there.
Yeah, can you see
Okay.
a
Search
table?
box.
The
Yes.
search for
Yes.
Atia there.
Atia.
Yes. I've
Okay,
seen it.
yeah,
I've seen
anyone
it.
that you use, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so go
Okay.
ahead. Now, yes, so apply the waiver of 120,000 to this invoice. How do you do that?
I'll come here.
No, at the bottom, extreme
At the
bottom
bottom,
left.
bottom.
Okay. 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 Bottom. I cannot see it.
You have not gotten to the bottom of the page.
Okay. Okay.
Use
Use
waiver.
waiver.
That's right.
I'll click it.
Good.
Yeah.
So
I'll
it will,
click it.
yes.
Okay.
So when it opens up, enter the amount, 120,000 there. And then what's the reason?
Reason. Repayment.
Repayment offset. Yeah, something like that. Then your password.
Is there apply waiver?
Okay. So what the system does, it applies the waiver successfully, right? And then if you open that invoice again, if it opens again, you will still see that actually it is still the same 3,361,000, but the grand total becomes 241. And if you open the invoice, scroll to the top and click on the button at the top, not cleared, that not cleared button.
Not
Yeah. It will show you the invoice, everything, together with the waiver as a discount. Can you see it there? Applied
Yeah.
waiver minus 120. That's it. This will not record on the invoice pro forma, but I mean, it is more like a one-time waiver, right? One-time invoice discount.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
about
stop sharing now.
it. You don't like us in your screen. All right, stop sharing. Okay, so and because because I Taiwo did this himself. If we go to audit trail under admin management, madam, this one will be yours. We will see it under admin management. You will see that there is an account related activity here that indicates that Taiwo applied 120,000 to an invoice with this reference number on the 24th by 12:51. So we don't stop you from doing it, but we keep a trail of it, so you can't deny it, right? Okay, the same thing goes with all the manual confirmations or reconciliations. You see the list right here. So if you confirm an instrumental payment, if you confirm a manual payment, whatever you do, there is an audit trail that keeps a tag of that. Okay, so
Okay,
yeah,
still on the bill.
yes, please.
Two questions. One, usually what we do before bills are published, when they are generated, right? We
Yes.
prepared and all that. There's supposed to be like a checking, a vetting, and approval process before it is published.
Okay. So
So and to hold on, sorry, let me finish.
okay,
To
please
aid
go.
that, because I know all this is online and all that, it's all good
Yes.
and well. But to aid that, we are able to export to Excel, so we can print out like a broadsheet kind of thing. Where it helps me print out the
Okay.
broadsheet. Then at a glance, you can see, maybe class by class, and see the makeup of fees, and see all discounts. So is there a provision for that here, where one can see like some kind of broadsheet arrangement for the class, like okay, we have these students in the class and have all their fee items and all the discounts that apply and the total in
Okay.
one sheet.
Okay. All right. So let's say we have the this is for everyone, but let's say we are interested in just JS1. All we need to do is select JS1 here. Remember when I started, I told you that the account statement is a very key part because of this same thing that you just said. So
Okay.
let's say this is JS1. You can even go down to JS1D or 1G as the case may be. And you can even filter down to maybe the paid only or the unpaid
No,
only.
no, here at this point, no, no, hold on.
Yes.
There are two different. What you're trying to do is show like like payment status now. That's not what I'm asking about. I'm saying the bill has been prepared internally. We are still working on the bill. I am
Okay.
yet to vet the
You are
bill
yet to
for it
send
to
it
be
out.
published. So I
Okay.
need to see the breakdown of the bills for like GS1 to be
Okay.
sure that those that need discounts, the discounts have been applied. To be sure that
Okay.
all the fee elements
yeah,
have been
yeah, yeah,
included.
yeah. I
Yes,
get you. I
so
get
something
you.
like
So
that.
that is what we have on bill batches.
Okay.
So if you go to bill batches, of course, you can see that they have not been published. And each
Okay.
batch has the list of all the invoices that are currently under it. Like this one now has only
Okay.
two,
So, okay.
right? And if you click on it, if you click on the invoice, that's the invoice list, or the price, or anywhere, right? It shows you the list of all the items, right? So
Okay.
the one that you're currently asking for now, that is the export. We have made it available on the
Yeah.
statement. So, but what we have here is a direct view. You'll see the breakdown of each one of them. Their discounts applied, each one of them. That's what we have on the bill batch. I think what you said now is worthy of implementation. Just somewhere here, export. So that way you get the list even before it is. Even this serves not everybody, but I think this one you just said now should be able to. I mean, it
Well,
should be able.
even exporting this to Excel doesn't really serve the
That's what
purpose
I'm saying.
in
So
this.
the view that we currently have for Excel should be extended to this. Let me show you that view so that you understand what I mean. This is, let's say this is assuming that this was when everything has not been, nobody has paid. It's just
Yes. Yeah.
vetting pool. What we would have had would be for JS1 now download,
Yeah.
and this is the Excel sheet that will show you everybody in JS1 currently in Excel sheet, a breakdown together with their discounts. So it shows you their class, the amount that is due, the discount that has been applied, and the grand total. The payment status for everybody at that instance should still be unpaid. But this same view that we're talking about, I believe that is the view that you're looking for, but for the
Yes,
pending.
but the amount should have
Good.
been broken down into the fee items.
Come
I don't know
again.
if you.
The amount will be
That's
broken
what
down
I'm
into fee
really saying.
items.
That the various years as it is on their bill, they have
Let me
broken
look for one
subscription,
example.
Yes,
tuition,
I will
we
show
would
you
lunch,
like,
now.
yes, we would
boarding,
like to
and
have.
all and the like.
And they're like, okay, so please give
Yes.
me a view. If it's possible, can you mail it to
Okay.
either
I'll mail that.
Mr. Botex or Alex, any of them that you have their contacts? Just send it across to us so that we'll look at that and see how to implement that quickly. But yeah, so once we do that, currently this one now gives you a cumulative, right? Like
Yes,
shows you the
yes,
total.
yes.
So, but what we will want to have is for Edward, you
Yes,
have the breakdown, Abby.
yes, yes, yes.
Like
The
let's say
breakdown.
that the invoice contained tuition. You will have tuition on
Tuition,
a
yes,
column.
tuition column, yes,
You will
lunch
have lunch
column.
column and
Yeah.
everything. So then at the end
Yes.
of the
Okay. So
line,
something like what Taiwo is. I don't know. That was just
Can you
okay.
see it now? I will show you now.
Are you sharing?
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I think it's
Are
Yes,
you
I'm
sharing
showing
your
you.
screen?
okay.
Okay,
It's something like
okay,
this.
Yes,
let me
yes, I've
start
done that
sharing.
already.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Can you see
So it's
something
what
like
I'm talking about.
this?
All the
okay.
columns.
So
So at
you
a
have
glance, I can see.
okay, okay. So please kindly send this across to one of us,
Okay, we'll send
please.
it. We'll
Yes,
send
please.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, that will help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taiwo, I think you can stop sharing.
I've done that already.
Okay. Okay, one more another my second question, please.
Okay.
After bills have been prepared and published, sometimes there are cases where you need to kind of make modifications to the bill.
Thank you very much.
So
All right.
how do we treat that?
Okay. So let's say let's use this particular, or rather, let's just generate a new one, because usually they don't have these kind of complications before that. So let's assume that it's a new bill. Create bill, and this time around, let's generate it for maybe the fourth person on that list, the student, the fourth student on the list. I like your questions. They are actually practical use cases, and it's a very good thing because it means you are on point in terms of your management so far. So here we have
Well,
agro.
we have been using accounting software for the longest time,
Thank you
so we
very
know the
much.
cases that we encounter.
All right, so we have agro. Okay, ogene. Okay, ogene. So we have that, and let's create an invoice for him for second term. Second term Vue.js one, and okay, so this is a general invoice, and this person is supposed to have this 651,000, which is what everybody else should have, right? But then there is a modification. So let's look at the kind of modification that we have. Sometimes it's just an item that you don't want on the list, right? So to do that,
Yeah, sometimes you okay, correct.
yeah, sometimes you want to add, sometimes you want to change price,
Sometimes you want to change the value of
the
an
value of
yes,
an item.
an
So
item.
all
Yes.
that you do from here, edit invoice, which is
Okay.
the second button here. So when you click on that, it shows you the list of all the items that are already listed in the fee, and also
Okay.
the list of items that have not been listed in the fee. So you can see that all the items in this particular account were listed. So let's
Okay.
assume that we want to change lunch from 35,000 to 25,000. All
Okay.
you have to do is click edit. When you click edit, the system drops it down to the edit part, and
Yeah.
here you can change the price. So here you can change it to 25,000, and you add it back. So here it becomes 25,000. If you want to delete practicals completely, you don't want it to be on the system again, just click the delete button and it's off.
And this can happen even after the person has made part payment.
So you can't edit an invoice that has received a payment. Not on the system. Not right now. All right. So but this can be done for any invoice that has not been paid for.
Well,
Yes.
that might have a bit of a challenge with that.
Okay, so we'll look at your use case and see how we can accommodate that. But we try as much as possible to see how we can maintain integrity of accounting. Yeah, I mean it goes.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so
No, I totally agree with you. But at the same time,
you have
sometimes
your
we want
use
to
case
we need to
scenarios.
accommodate yes
Exactly. I
some
I get the compromise. Yeah, I
changes.
get the compromise. All right. So if these practicals were not here, of course you know what to do. You can easily add it by just right add, and it goes in there. Okay.
So I would ask you,
Yes.
well, assuming the parent has already paid, made the part payment on an existing invoice, maybe initially it was billed as a day student, right?
Okay.
And they've made the part payment here on that, and then something comes up and say, okay, because we allow parents to, come to we allow students come to the boarding house,
Okay.
for a period of time. That is
Okay.
okay from me till I want my child in the hostel.
Okay.
So what do you do in that case?
And
What
the
would you
person has
advise?
already made a day payment.
Yes, made the part
You
payment
simply
on
you
the
simply
initial
generate a
invoice.
subsidiary invoice. Isn't that easier? Just
Okay.
generate a subsidiary invoice that has only burden on it, and that's it. The complications are not
Okay,
necessary. The parents can receive one or
You know,
two, two, three
sorry,
invoices.
there may be a dis-
You say?
sorry, there may be a situation that we have to refund the launch fee to
yeah, we
accommodate
have to make
invoice.
some
So we
we
could,
have to make some adjustments to other fee items beyond just adding boiling.
Yes, that's what I just showed you. As in, this is
No,
edit now.
no, no, no. What I mean is all this editing only happens if the person hasn't made a payment on that
Yes.
invoice.
Okay. So
If the person
we are
has made a
you're
payment,
doing. Okay, so that's what I'm saying now, that we can look at your use case and see how we can accommodate that. But by default, like I just said now, part payments are not really like what the system
accom-
accommodates. That's what I mean. Yeah. So if we look at this guy now, as in this year 249, I think it has. Okay, this one is discount. I think there was one that we had a part payment on.
you are not getting what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is that when a child is coming to the hostel, peradventure the child is using transport, we have to refund the transport and lunch for the child to come to the hostel.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. That will simply mean editing the invoice that has been made payment on, right?
which you don't currently
Yes.
accommodate.
Yes, which we don't currently accommodate. But we will look at your use case and see how we can infuse that in the system. That's what I say. All right. I think there was one here that had a part payment of 8,005.
I think there was. I think
Yes, there was this particular one.
not clear.
Yes, not clear. Okay, so we're looking at something like this and trying to edit it. The first thing you can see that edit button is not even available.
Okay.
You get it. So
Yeah.
I understand the use case that you're trying to paint here. We're simply saying that right now we didn't accommodate it, but if it's actually a pinpoint for you, we'll reason it together. We'll find a way to add it up and make it available for you. It may not be part of outright editing, but we'll find a way to make it available for you. This programming is all about
And
software, right?
okay, but I hope you don't get back to me and say, oh, because we are not on enterprise, you cannot do it.
That
Because
is
that's what
possible.
I have heard some of that lately.
That is possible. That is possible. When you're using an ERP solution, there is only just a lot. There is only a lot that can be done when it has to do with modifications of the system, right? So if you are not on enterprise and you are making this request that requires changing our system, there is a high possibility that you may be bounced. So
But we are helping you. You do know we are helping you, right?
yeah, we
We're
know.
actually helping you.
Yeah, we know. But
Yes, yeah.
yeah, we know. But then, yeah, when you have a legacy, when you have an implant legacy, right? The such
Okay.
such requests,
Uh,
right? It's not like we let it off like outright no. The only thing is that we take them in as suggestions and then we put them on the list of items that we can work on as part of modifications to help our customers even better, right? But for enterprise users, what we don't look at it as suggestions, we look at them as priority needs. So we bring them up on the priority list of updates. You see the difference?
potato, potato, that story. You are just
Ah,
saying you're not going to pay for us. That's what
I
I
didn't say.
hear.
Oh, she already told you to send it across. But
Okay.
the administrator, that's the software developers management system, are the ones that will decide how much of a priority it can be. Do you understand?
Hey,
Yeah.
all
So
right.
but
Okay.
on a general basis, this is it. And I don't know. Does this make sense to you? Does it cover? Of course, from the questions you've been asking so
Well,
far, I know that.
I would say this is what we will do. Okay,
Okay.
because the whole idea of this was to, initially when we started off, I told them just hold off with the finance function because we are not ready.
Okay.
Okay. we have something that we use, and it's been very, I mean, it's quite good as far as, I mean, by our estimation. So
Okay.
the essence of this was to see how this compares with what we currently use,
Okay.
because we want to be able to take advantage of the online payment option for our
Exactly.
parents.
Okay.
And since we are not on enterprise, like you guys said, they cannot integrate our current, system, our current software
With
with the portal.
with the portal.
So essentially, there's that gap, and our parents will not be able to make. There's no point. They won't be able to make use of the online payment
Online
portal
payment.
if we are not using
Using it
your,
here. That's right.
yes, your finance function here. So that's
That's
why I say,
right.
okay, let us look at it. If it is worth moving over
Over.
for, you
Okay.
understand?
Okay.
So that's the essence of this. What we'll do now, we've only touched on one aspect out of a good number.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll take this one aspect, go back, look at it, start populating, the
Okay.
system,
Okay.
chart of accounts, and then we can do some more test runs. Let's put it that way to see how it works.
Perfect. Okay.
Apart from this angle,
Okay.
after that, then we can call for maybe another session
Okay.
where we can discuss, give you feedback. I mean, before then we give feedback, right?
Okay.
And then call for another session where we can move further, going beyond, of course, this the payments and the
Yes.
invoicing, go into expenses, go into the reports, go into
Exactly.
final accounts,
That's
before
right.
we enter stores and so many others. So
Yeah,
I
right.
think we'll take it, because if you are using your finance function, we are going to use it and use it well.
Well, I understand.
So we know what we're looking for.
I
So
understand.
we'll have to get back to you. Maybe give us maybe 1 week or so. We'll take our time to populate and do some trial runs on our
Okay.
own,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to you and maybe have another meeting, and then we'll see how we take it from there. But in the long, we're looking at if we're going to move. Okay, I need to ask a question now.
Go ahead, please.
If we're going to move, we have a system that's currently running. I know how account transactions take place on a daily basis. It's a going concern.
That's true.
It's so there's no, we stop at this point and we start at that point. So
Yeah.
even the data we have, how do we move? I mean, these are all questions that start to bother me at this point. If you're going to switch to yours, how do we move our data?
Okay, so we've had several migrations. This will be the first. We've migrated data from Sage to educare, and from different SQL databases to educare. So migration is really not our problem. Our problem is usually our agreement with you, your package, right? Your package with us, right? So if you're like like you said, you rightly said, you hear enterprise package all the time.
Don't tell me enterprise. I
Of
don't
course
pay
it
enterprise
is.
now.
Of course
It's true.
it has to do with it. Everything that has to do with migration.
So are you
Students,
saying we cannot migrate without enterprise now?
well, you will have to discuss that with the administrators. I mean, the Mr. Alex and Co. They are the administrators. You deal with them, and then we are on the execution level. So we take care of our priorities, we take care of our tasks, and we get them done. So, but just know that it is not impossible.
All right, I will talk to them, because I mean migration is a major thing. We already have something we're using, so we can't just stop and start somewhere. We have to move
I
our
get
data.
you, I get you. So let's let it be on discussion between. I mean, let it be an administrative discussion, and then we can take it on from there.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
All right.
So I think so far so
And
good.
so,
We probably Taiwo,
yes, ma'am.
anything you
I
want to
said the
add?
billing system. Are they going to bill? For example, now there are some items of the bill that affects all these children. For example, tuition. Is it one we are going to be taking, or we just take tuition and it will work on all the children?
Okay, so I think I showed us one more. I mean, a moment ago, how you can generate, even if it's all the school,
Per class.
you can generate for per class. You can generate for the whole school at once. It's not one. You must not do it one. You call it a batch, right? So like this one now, I'm about to generate. I will delete it immediately because it looks for me it's going to be kind of bulky and
Okay, thank you.
wonderfully big. Like this is 580, 583. I can add all of them to group, proceed to invoice, generate just one invoice for all of them. Just one invoice. And it will apply to all the 580 at once. Right there. Do you get it? So the pro forma
Yes.
invoice will be generated, and then at the background, the 580 invoices will be created as individual invoices. And when you open the view invoices table or view, to show you the list of all the invoices, 580 of them. Now this is going to be heavy, right? You can see it's still loading. If you look here, you see that it's still coming up. So all the invoices will be generated as just one single batch. Now, the addition that we have, which I have told Madam that we'll have to include for your sake, a sheer goodwill, right? Is possibility of pulling this in an Excel format with your items, right? I mean the individual items breakdown for review before publishing. Currently, this is the view that we have for it, but we are going to schedule and include Excel export of unpublished invoice so that you can do your review before you publish it. But that's the idea of this one, anyways. Just to view it, make sure that everything is correct for every individual, right? Before you send out. That's the idea of this. But I think I also share in the Excel pro forma. Okay, so
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So as far as publishing goes, what's the procedure? Is it like as an accountant now, like Taiwo has been set up, does
yes.
he prepare and publish himself, or can you do it such that before publishing they have some kind of authorization, somebody else publishes it?
Okay, so we don't have that restriction for who publishes, right? Because we believe that whoever has access to this is an accountant or an admin, right? So once you come to this place and you see this, all you need to do is just click on it, confirm publish by just clicking on this, and that's it. There's no in between. All right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's about that. And of course, to retrieve all the bills, just click on this. The 583 will be deleted immediately. Okay, so the system will just retrieve all the 583 bills as long as they have not been paid for. As long as there is none of the invoices have been paid for, right? The system will retrieve that and to disappear from the face of the earth. You can see that some of them are washed out or disabled. That's because there is a part payment that has been paid, either partly or full. There is a payment on them, so they are washed out or disabled. You cannot retrieve a batch with paid invoice or invoices, right? Okay, so that's about revenue generation or invoice generation and bill collection. The part we didn't get to include I mean everything report, and then everything budget expenditure. So report, the first port of call for reports is the financial statement right there. So school fees receipt, which is the ledger account, has a list of every payment from all the students, the different invoices that's culminated in the payments, and you can even click on details to see the individual bills. That's the individual items that's culminated in the bill. All right, and all that. So we get to this, but it's very simple. It's the income statement, or what you call statement of profit and loss, right? So here you can see the breakdown of all the account heads or chart of accounts, or ledger account, whatever you call them, right? You can see the breakdown. So because we added everything to school fees receipt, you have not created your full chart of accounts, so everything went to school fees. That's why school fees receipt contained the list, I mean the credit of all the invoices that we cleared a moment ago. But by the time you do the right analysis in your chart of account, that's enter them properly and link them properly. When you come to this place, you will see more details. Of course, this is for credit.
Okay.
Yes. By the time we do
Yes.
expenditure like direct postings, transfers, petty cash, and all that, you will also see them here in the income statement as debits.
Yeah, so James, all
Yes.
these entries that we have made, these values, amounts that we have entered, any
Yes.
way of kind of wiping them off somewhere?
Yes, I'll do that right away. Immediately I drop
Okay.
this, I stop this meeting, I'll wipe them. And if you are still going on test scheme, please just go ahead.
Yeah.
But when you are done and you say you are ready to go, I'll wipe them again for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay, that's fine.
So I would like to have your, I don't know, your contacts so that in case while we are testing, if you have any questions, you can reach out to you.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so
You,
I
you
think
please,
Support
you
Mr.
don't
with
Mr.
forget.
Mr.
benefits
Alex, you are here.
extension.
I'm here, Mr. James.
Okay, so please kindly provide them with all the contacts they need so that we can
Then
have proper
the video you
support.
have them.
They don't have your number.
I doubt nobody
No, we
has.
do not have
So just,
James's number.
so just
Okay. I'm going to send it in the group now.
Okay.
Then the video you promised us, the
yes.
video.
So I'll also publish the video somewhere on YouTube and then I'll send a link. I don't know how long it's going to be, but this took about 3 hours. So 3 hours video on YouTube may take some time. So once it's on YouTube, I'll send you the link. All right.
Have you sent the number?
I will send it. I'm trying to locate the group.